All right, welcome to the Soscast, episode 53, special show, special segment, something we've been working on for quite some time. Here's the deal. Welcome to Soscast. This is where finance meets romance. You know what we do here. You know what we're all about on Value Tainment. #1 channel in the world for entrepreneurs. You know who I'm talking. I'm talking to you. But here's the deal. We do this show every week so young men can improve your finances, improve your sexual market value, just win in life, get you paid, laid, and do it your way. That's true. What we usually do here is we have a panel of experts, men, women, experts, just awesome people. We ask them questions to get smarter, better, all that fun stuff. Here's what we weren't doing. We weren't talking to you. Yes. We weren't focusing on you. Yeah, we answered some of your super chats. Amazing. We'll get to that. Yes, we were answering a bunch of your questions throughout the show, but we weren't full on dedicating an entire show to you, and that's what we're doing on Friday. So I said, you know what? I could do a show on Fridays easily, no problem, but I'm only one man. I'm a man of the people, no doubt, but I'm only one man. But I said, who would be amazing as a co-host? Who's awesome? Who's lovely? Who's cool? Who's a female? Who's got a great smile? And I went through my list and I said, I got one name in mind. And that's Natalya Delvalle. I mean, can we give it up? I don't know. Do we have an applause thing?
We can applaud here. We can applaud here.
So we can do that here. So here's the deal. We're going to spend an hour with you guys today. We've asked you on Value Tainment Instagram. We've asked you on my personal Instagram, Sos Talks Money. What you got? What questions do you have? What are the pressing questions that you need answered? What advice do you need answered? What solutions are you looking for? And we had you ask those questions on Instagram. We've got a ton of questions. And Talia, I think you've got like a couple dozen questions that have been asked. But we said, we ain't stopping there, bro. We ain't stopping there. We said, let's get it from the super chat. And what we're going to be able to do, I'm pretty sure if Eric comes through, I think we have a phone that we're going to be able to call you guys. If you guys have super chats, I don't know if we have a minimum right now, if it's going to be 50 or 100. We'll figure that out. But if you've got a hot topic, hot pressing topic that you need to get answered, we said, all right, super chat is one thing, we give you that, but maybe we call the people. Yeah. Maybe we call the people. So anyway, that's what's going on. That's what this entire Q&A, SOS and Nat Friday vibe is all about. And just to add a little sizzle to the steak, what did I bring for us, Nat?
You brought us some liquor.
I brought a little 1 drink, 2 drink, 3 drink.
Happy Friday.
So I'm not scared of drinking. Especially on camera. I've done worse things on camera. No comment.
Uh-oh.
However, it's Friday. I think we're going to do this every Friday. And it's all about you guys. But in order to deal with some people these days, especially some of these people that are out there, I got to have a cocktail.
Got you.
Are you going to join me or no?
I will. Okay, because it's our first shot. Just a little bit, though.
Inaugural show. All right. What are you going to drink? I'm going to drink Crown.
I'll have some Crown as well.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Do you like it on the rocks? Do you want to do a shot? You want to have drinks?
Let's do a little bit of sugar. We'll put a little bit of Coke in there.
Would you pass me that cup, young lady? Gentlemen, don't do what I just did.
Got the shot glasses.
Don't do what I just did. Always pour the lady a drink first.
Enough.
Okay? All right. You don't have to drink the whole thing. Follow my lead, gentlemen.
Yes.
Pour the lady the drink first. Don't do what I just did. Natalya, would you like a mixer in your drink?
Yes, I would. Okay. I'm being treated today.
Of course.
Oh,
would
my
you like
goodness.
to tell me when to stop?
Yes, and that is good.
That's a lot of Coke in your drink, bro.
I don't like to drink.
I'm doing 1 dash.
Not a drinker. Oh.
2 dash. Okay.
Give you some flavor.
Some flavor.
Yes.
Some flavor. All right. So grab your drink. I assume you know how drinking works.
Okay.
You have to grab the drink. You have to maybe
drink it with
shaken, not
mind.
stirred. You could put it right there. And we're going to do a cheers to our first show together.
On a Friday.
It's the first of many. Respect.
Happy Friday.
And if you guys are out there, pour a drink, pour a tequila, pour a cocktail, have a glass of wine, have some water, hydrate, refresh, whatever you need. But enjoy. Salud, l'chaim, to the best of health, wealth, and happiness to you guys out there. To the first of many, Natalya. Anywho, you know what would be great right now
Friday.
if we used the coasters that our friend we met at the vault gave us.
Yes,
I don't remember his name, but he was awesome. His name was Ivan.
Coutinho, yes.
What a great. Oh, that's Ivan?
Yeah.
What a good dude.
Yeah. So he got the
What a
coasters.
good dude. We met him at Pat's house
next Friday
at the vault. Eric, are you listening, or who's on the production team right now? Hey, what's up? Do we have a phone in order to call people? Do we have that?
Gotcha.
That's great
Don't want to have to
know
give
that
my
we're
number
still
out
looking
and
into
calling my phone.
I mean, I think some people out there would want to have Natalya call them. I don't know. That's just me. Anyway, here's the deal. The benefit of this show is that it's just very free. It's very loose. There's no agenda. There's no time constraints. We're just going to do this until basically people said, all right, guys, we're done for a Friday.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you, Nat. I've got some stuff to do tonight.
I've got some stuff.
What do you got going on
I've got
tonight?
lots of
Tell
stuff.
me what you got
after
going
our
on.
meeting we just had, I've got some stuff
We got
to
some
do
work
tonight.
to do. Pat just
Yes.
laid into us. Respect, Pat.
Yeah, in a good way for the
Yes.
best.
What do you got going on now?
For this weekend?
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing some research stuff I have going on this weekend.
Nerd.
I know.
I'm sorry. I mean, that's great.
I always
Congratulations.
do like my weekends to do kind of like a reset. I'll like cook, clean.
I use that for Sunday. That's Sunday.
Yeah,
What about
but
Friday,
I like
Saturday night?
Okay, so Saturday in the day, I like to do those things. So Sunday, I can just have Sunday, you know? So,
okay.
because like, I'm not really like a daytime go outer girl. I don't really like to be out.
Daytime
in
go
the
outer
daytime.
girl. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the deal.
What about you? What are you doing this weekend?
I'm a weekend warrior. I'm not gonna
I know
lie.
you are. Warrior.
I work my ass off Monday through Friday. We make moves, we make money, we make relationships, we make content, and then Saturday I'm not a day drinker.
Okay.
Not a day drinker.
Why?
Whatsoever. Because if I'm gonna go out at night, there's no way I'm gonna
You
do that
prefer
during the
day
day.
or night though?
As far as what?
Like going out?
No, night. I mean, live in South Beach. You go out at night. During the day, most days I'm at the beach. I'm working out. I'm doing yoga. I'm, doing South Beach stuff. But like trying to be healthy. Trying to be
Gotcha.
healthy. At night, not so healthy.
Sun
But
goes down and...
it's all about moderation. It's all about balance. You can't do too much of this kind of stuff. So you're going to be managing the chat.
Yes.
Someone
Should we
says,
start?
Adam is straight up pimping Natalya, and we regret this.
regret
I don't
this.
think I'm pimping
I don't
Natalya,
think so.
and I don't think I would regret this.
This gentleman or this individual had a very strong comment at the beginning. We can actually address it right now.
You know, I'm going to say this, 90% of comments I appreciate, even if they're negative.
Me too.
I'm not like, oh my God, how can they say that?
Yeah.
There's 10% of people, 10% that hide behind keyboards.
Yes.
And there's a 0% chance they would say some shit to somebody's face.
Yeah.
That's what I would call soft. That's what I would call scared. They're just, oh yeah, you're doing this. It's like, all right, come up to somebody's face and say, hey, by the way, I want to tell you, I disagree with this. I disagree. Look, respect.
Right.
Most people are so soft
Yes.
that they just want to make comments on YouTube. And then if they see you in person, hey man, it's great to see you, or they just won't do it.
They won't. They don't have
This is the problem with YouTube, and this is the problem with culture today is it's made people, trigger fingers turn to Twitter fingers. Drake once said that. And
Yes.
people feel very comfortable disrespecting people online. Let me know how that works out in real life for you, young men. But
there.
such is life. I'm not complaining. Like I said, 90% plus of people, whether it's good comments or negative comments, all good. There's 10% that they deserve a punch in the face. They probably never had a good punch in the face. You see this face right here? I'd be way better looking than this if I wasn't punched in the face dozens of times in college. But
you don't
that's
look
what
like
happens.
you've been punched in the face, actually.
What's that?
You don't look like you've been punched in the face.
No, I've been punched. I've been socked. I've been punched. I've been pummeled. But you go to Florida State, and half the people that go to Florida State take steroids. And there's two types of people. This is when I went to college a million years ago.
Yeah.
There was two types of people, two types of guys.
Yeah.
At the end of the night, because you're college, you're going out, you're drinking, having a good time. Two types of people. There's the types of guys that they're looking to go home and with a girl.
Yeah.
And there's types of guys that just are looking to get in a fight before they go home. And if you've ever been to Florida State, there's a lot of people looking for a fight.
I think there's a lot of people looking for a fight in general today.
You think so?
Yeah, there's so much diversity. There's so much diversity, so many like strong different opinions, and I feel like we're in a world where like freedom of speech isn't welcome. So like you find a lot more fighting around. It's easy for people to get like triggered easier today. I feel like just because everything is so like sensitive. Like we had the podcast today with Vinny and Ryan.
Yeah.
And they were talking about how like comedians, they, from like over the years, they've become a little bit more like conservative with some of their jokes because people can be easily offended when, comedy is comedy. You're supposed to laugh at the things that maybe aren't like so much funny, but like you're like, okay, you're right about that. You know, it's supposed to give a little bit of that humor, that humanism to like things that are sensitive. So I think just, you know, today we're in a world of like everybody wants to be in the boxing ring, but nobody really wants to be in the boxing ring. They just want to be the commentator, you know?
I feel you on that, exactly. And I think as far as comedians go, comedians are the people who are supposed to push the envelope.
Yes.
Comedians are the people that are supposed to say some shit that you're like, oh my God, did they really just say that?
But it makes you think in like a funny way. You're like, okay, I'm not offending them. I'm just thinking about why would they say that and where is that perspective? So it's supposed to bring like humor to that.
Yes. Actually, when I spoke to Tate, which we'll get into today when we did the interview with Tate in Madrid, I said, bro, if you just put on your Instagram that you were a comedian, you probably wouldn't be canceled.
Yeah.
Just because a lot of things he says are hyperbole and, you know, it's kind of like he kind of like, he's a character. I mean, I think he truly believes what he's saying, no doubt, but he understands how to get eyeballs and he knows how to word things in a way that people kind of get triggered. And he speaks very emphatically and powerful and he knows what he's doing. But if he was like, guys, I'm joking, I'm a comedian.
Yeah, it would have.
You can't cancel a comedian.
Yeah, it would have.
You can't. They tried. They canceled Chappelle. They tried to cancel Rogan. It's very hard to cancel a comedian because that's comedy. That's freedom of speech,
right?
Which we're major advocates of. Anyway, we're going to be looking for your super chats. You'll be doing that.
What should we start with? Should we start with relationships, life,
answer
money?
your questions. Ask your questions, super chats. Nat's dropping those. We'll do some phone calls if we can figure that out. Carlos, Eric, crew in there. If you figure out the phone situation, we'll do that today. If not, we'll do that next episode. We're doing this every Friday, but let's do it. Let's do it, Nat. Let's get right into the questions today. We're going to talk money. We're going to talk relationships. We're going to talk life. We're just going to talk success. We're going to talk wealth. We're going to talk sex. We're going to talk. Nothing's off topic. Nothing's off limits. This is the place to basically ask those questions and have those conversations that are kind of difficult to have that you want to know the answer to.
Yes.
This is the place for that. So Nat,
which one do you want to start with?
We can start money. How about we do pull 3 cards.
3.
And mix them up. Okay. Money, relation. These are a bunch of questions.
Okay.
And I'm going to grab one and then we'll just rotate.
Okay.
We'll just rotate.
I'm mixing it up. And you may pick my friend.
Okay. Go in the middle. What's that?
Relationships.
Okay. We're doing this.
Starting here. So let's start with the first question we have.
Sure.
It says, trying to get a girl to go on a date with me for the last 12 months with no success. What's the advice? She's not interested. I think if it's been 12 months and you cannot catch a date, you shouldn't give them your time. That's pretty clear.
Who asked that
question? It's by Rickus.
Okay, so Rick has asked the question. He said he's trying to get a girl to go on a date with him for 12 months.
I wonder
she's not interested.
How that works. 12 months. I'm surprised the girl's responding. Right? When is your like stop line of like, okay, this girl's not giving me like anything back?
Okay, in person or text?
Both.
In person, like, if there's no vibe immediately, maybe you make a joke. You know, hey, all right, cool. I see how it is. It's cool. And if they'll be open to it, receptive. If not, just keep it moving. Okay. And maybe you revisit it an hour later. Hey, by the way, what are you drinking? Whatever.
Yeah.
But if you're doing this via text and you're looking at the text messages, 3 is the max. Hey, what's up? No response. Hey, just making sure you saw this. Still no response. Maybe you give a third text. Maybe. After 2, no responses, it's pretty indicative that like she's just not into it. Now, our friend right here says he's been pursuing this girl for 12 months and he can't get a date. Keep it moving. Now, a lot of people want to be victims. Oh, must be something wrong with her. She's a fucking bitch. Oh,
you want me to tell you why that's probably going on?
There's probably something wrong with him.
Not only maybe that. I think she just wants to just keep you like in her roster. You're a roster boy.
What do you mean roster? He's not even in the roster. He can't even get a date.
But exactly, like that's like her fallback of like, oh, okay, well, all these other guys, they're taking me out, they're doing whatever. I like them more, but I'm gonna keep you over here in case I'm having a downtime. I know for sure you're gonna answer. I know for sure you're gonna be able to because I know you like me. So if a girl knows like a guy is really into them, sometimes that can turn off a girl. You want me to be honest?
Of course.
Just because it's like, it's just, I guess, easily accessible. So when men, I guess, and I would assume vice versa, when they're so easily accessible, it can just be like, oh, I can just get it next week. Like, there's no rush, you know? When there's that, like, oh, hey, listen, like, when you do the canceling on the girl, that makes them feel like, oh, no, wait. You know, like, oh, no, wait, I want to see you.
Well,
like,
I think what you're ultimately saying that is that women like a challenge.
Yes.
Okay,
always.
women like a challenge.
But so do men, right?
Men, not as much as women.
But men like to chase, you think?
Men will chase
They like to
whatever
chase.
they like. If they
Isn't
like
that
a
a
girl,
challenge?
they don't give a shit. They'll chase it down the road, no problem. But women. So I used to have a buddy of mine. His name's Peter. I mean, granted, this guy was a full-on suave pimp gentleman, 7 foot, played in the NBA. I'm not going to give you his last name. He's a guy.
Yeah.
And we used to go out to the clubs, okay? And this guy had a roster. Let's just say that. He would invite 3-4 different girls that he's talking to, hooking up with, to the same club, to the same table, and just let's see how it worked out, like an animal in the wild. And you know what would happen? You would think that's the dumbest idea to do.
Really?
That's what you would assume. What would happen is the girls start competing for his attention.
That's not a dumb idea.
Exactly. Okay, that's what I thought. I'm like, Peter, what is wrong with you? He goes, you'll see. You'll see. All of a sudden, the girls are like, why is this bitch here? What's this going on here? Okay, hey, Peter, like, can I talk to you over here for a second?
It's like The Bachelor Live.
Yes. It was so counterintuitive to what I thought. I would say, no, dude, don't invite multiple girls you're hanging out with and hooking up with to the same spot. He's like, watch what we do, buddy.
Yes.
And, survival of the fittest. And a girl is more attracted to a guy when other girls are attracted to that guy.
1,000%.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
it's
the
sharing
fact
a toy, and you're like, no, it's mine.
Exactly. Girls are possessive. Yeah. They want to win. People think that men are competitive. Girls are extra competitive.
I think girls are worse than men.
Really?
Yes, because
Give me some
feel
insight.
like guys, they can be a little bit more like, they're okay with like, not shady things, but they're more okay with like, oh, bro, if you slept with my ex-girlfriend, I don't care. Girls would be like, you slept with my man? Like they become catfight. They become aggressive. And like girls are really mean to other girls. Girls would be like, you're a whore. And like for a girl to criticize a girl, it's worse almost because it's like, bitch, you know what I go through. You know every day I have to do this, and you do the same. And then you criticize the work that I do. Right? And then as a girl, you're like, no, I'm better. So that whole competition becomes a little bit, in my opinion, more aggressive. And I don't think that's also bad for men because men, I think that turns them on. When they have a girl that's like, oh, this girl, like, she's committed to me. What did you say? Guys are like, oh yeah, she's going to be in the roster. I'm going to keep her around. Like you kind of want I don't want to say dominant because I know some of you guys hate that word when women use, but like you want the head girl to like be like, no, this girl's committed to me. Like even if I left for a minute, like she's gonna be looking like, where's he at when I come back? So I think women can be a little bit more. That's where their like, I guess, masculinity side comes out, but maybe to their advantage.
Got it. So let's bring this back to our friend. What was his name again that asked the question?
Rickus.
So my advice to Rickus, who's been pursuing this girl for 12 months, is she doesn't want you, bro. And even if you're able to land a date, you're not in a position of strength where she's competing for you. You're competing for her attention.
Yes.
And that is not a strong position to be in. And even if you get a date, there's no longevity there.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like what would be a pimp move is that you work on it, you figure it out, you get the date, you have a great time with her, and then you never text her. Like you basically kind of like take the power away from her.
Yeah. You want her chasing you.
Exactly.
If you're chasing that, honestly, if there's too much chase on one side, the other's like not feeling it.
Chase excellence, not women. And clearly you're doing the exact opposite. You're chasing women, not excellence. If you were an excellent man, she'd be pursuing you a little bit more than she is now.
Yeah.
And basically what's happening is that you're the puppy dog. You're like, come on, please, can we go? Come on, please, come on. Like, and even if she goes on a date with you, you're not a position of strength.
Yeah. And she feels that. Like
gets
when
it.
a girl goes on a date with a guy like that, it's kind of like you'll see her interest. She's like, yeah, okay, whatever. Oh my gosh, yeah. And then like she'll go through the motions, but she's not. And I I would feel like crap if I were you,
It's
Rickus.
a totally
like I would not allow
different
that.
vibe.
Yes.
If the girl is into you a little bit more than you're into her.
Yeah.
Versus you're into a girl a lot more than she is into you.
Yeah. It's gonna make you feel beta.
Yes.
It's gonna make you feel like that.
And then what's gonna happen is even if you start pursuing her and you get on a date with her, whatever.
Yeah.
You're gonna see her out on the town with some other dude, and you're gonna be just crushed.
Yeah, you're gonna be crushed, pissed, and you should be. I would be too, because if you're chasing this girl for 12 months and then she's out with another guy, and he essentially, maybe in your opinion, is not better than you, you're really gonna feel like crap.
Yeah.
So,
anyway, good luck out there, buddy.
Yes.
Cut your losses.
Cut your losses.
Improve yourself. Like, it's very hard to look in the mirror and say, what do I need to improve? Oh, maybe there's something wrong with her. She's a bitch. She's a gold digger. Whatever excuse you're making. I don't know this gentleman. I would love to do a phone call with him.
Yes.
If you looked in the mirror, what would you improve? Meaning like, how can you get better? Because she's looking at you being like, yeah, he's kind of sloppy. He's kind of gross. He doesn't have his shit together. He's kind of a broke boy.
Always texting me, always, yeah.
He's kind of thirsty.
Yeah.
It's not an attractive look.
It's not.
So you want her to miss you a little bit, bro. But best of luck.
Yes.
Just kind of cut your losses. I said 3 texts, be out completely. This guy's 12 months of pursuing.
Yeah. Oh, another tip. Do not
Yes.
text and then Snapchat and then Instagram message, send me. If she's not answering you in one of the realms of communication, that's your sign to stop.
Let me ask you a
sending in other
question.
areas. That's annoying.
Let me ask you, if a guy gets your number and calls you rather than text you, is that weird?
It depends on the interaction I got from them.
Okay.
Like if I was out and they were like, "Oh, you're really pretty. Like, do you have an Instagram?" Like, da da da. Sure. Here you go. Whatever. I've had people like call me on Instagram. I don't like that.
Call you
on Instagram.
Oh, weird.
Like but even like I've had people call me on the phone, and I think that's kind of very weird.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So what's the approach? Usually, what I've done is text. Hey, you down to have a call? Or hey, you available for a call? And just ask them, hey, all right, cool, I'm available.
Yeah.
Right?
I think for me, it's more like, okay, I give you my number, you text me, and based on how they respond is how you move forward. So like if they respond like, hey, what's up? You'd be like, hey, I would try and get the fastest to go be in person with them. Because the whole over the phone thing, you can only like get the gist of it. Okay, you got the number while you were out. You were a little tipsy. You think they look kind of good, and then they're like texting you 3 texts, 4 texts. You're like, this guy's annoying. So if you can get them to see you back in person faster, that connection between you and that girl is going to obviously like be a little bit stronger, because that you can feel the energy. You can feel like through the text, you're like, oh, he's texting me again. She's texting me again. Like, I think it's more exciting when you're like, hey, listen, let's catch a bite this weekend or whatever. And you're like, okay, yeah. Conversation done. Weekend comes along. Hey, we still want to meet up? Yes. Okay, great. Now you get the like, oh my gosh, I'm kind of nervous. Like, what are we going to talk about? Like, you get to have that fresh conversation in person rather than just like texting.
What do you think is a better approach for a guy? Asking a question or making a statement? Meaning, hey, are you open to getting some dinner this weekend? Question.
Okay.
Or hey, let's grab dinner this weekend. Statement.
I like statement. I like
That's the reason I asked it, and tell us why.
Because it's more assertive. It's more like I don't want to say like controlling, but it's like you're telling them like, I'm into you and I want to take you out. What are you doing this weekend? You asking is like, oh, well, I'm going to go see the girls and like I have to do this at home and I have these errands. Like you're giving more room for like reasons why you can't.
Yeah, I totally agree, because I think there's a lot of people out there that, let's say you get the girl's number. That's great. There's a vibe, whatever. Now it's time to execute the next step. And the types of positioning those questions, I think is very important. If you're like, hey, do you want to get dinner this weekend? You're kind of not
like that.
Operating from a position of strength.
Yes.
When if you're like, hey, let's grab some drinks this weekend.
Yeah, let's grab some drinks this weekend at this place. I found it last week. I think we would really like it. You're like, oh, you put thought into it. You thought about a place. When you saw this, you thought of me. Like that little like turn of your language can make a girl be like, oh, I kind of want to see him again.
Okay.
Like, oh, okay.
Anyway.
Yes.
What's our buddy's name again?
Rickus.
Rickus. We're rooting for you, bro. We'd like to hear from you. Assuming you don't go out with this girl, I'd like to know the next girl that you pursue. Hopefully it doesn't turn into a 12-month marathon and you can kind of figure that out in a couple days.
You got it.
Anyway, that's the first question.
Wish you the best.
What else we got?
Next one. This is an interesting one.
Is it relationships or is it money?
Should we do like a little mix? Let's do like a mix.
Let's mix it up.
Okay, so that was the first relationship. Then you want to let's go to money.
Let's go to money.
I like money. Okay, the first one is, if you could go back to 26 years old, this one's for you. What is the first thing you would master? And this is actually from Ivan, who gave us the coasters. Yes.
Look, everyone that you ask this question will give you a different answer, right? You know, some people will tell you to have a specialty, to have a skill, networking, social status, connections, whatever it is. So all I can do is speak from a position of strength that I've done.
Yeah.
When I was 26, I was my brokest friend. Okay. By the time I was 35, I was one of my wealthiest friends. Okay. Interesting. What happened? Between 21, let's just talk about in college, graduating college, between 21 and 26, I was not focused on money. So, they say, jack of all trades, master of none. What you need to do is that niches, the riches are in the niches, be a specialist. I didn't become a specialist until I was in my late 20s, or I started at 26, 27. But I spent 21 to 26 being the consummate networker. Connections galore.
But where did you go for that? Because today it's hard.
Yeah. Well, obviously everything, was done back then,
right.
Back in the day, there was no social media, in the early to mid 2000s. But still today, you don't have to be on social media in order to network. Social media is great. Connections, follows, that's great. But until you meet somebody in person, a la like the dating reference we just did, you're never going to have the vibe. You're never going to have a real connection. So my answer to this question is develop the soft skills, not the hard skills. Okay. How to interact with people, how to interact in a meeting, how to have a dinner with somebody. I go to business dinners with PBD all the time.
Right.
All the time, because he knows that when I go to dinner, we're going to have a good time. We're going to have a good conversation. I'm going to treat the guest with respect. I'm not going to kiss his ass, though.
Right.
I'm going to operate in a sense where after the dinner, the guest is like, yeah, that guy Saz is pretty cool, bro. Like, what's his deal?
So I have a question for you. Where did you learn that way to interact? Because some people can go network, but they don't know how to network. Like, they'll just go there and just listen, maybe ask a question or two. How do you be a productive networker in the outside world when you're doing that?
Some people got it and some people don't. Let's just start with that. Some people are extroverts and they thrive in a social environment. That's me. Introverts, not so much.
Right.
They're scared when they go out into public like this, and that's fine. Okay, but it's all about intention. So my intention, it used to be meet as many people as possible, have create a great vibe, show interest in other people. If you've ever read the book How to Win Friends and Influence People, right? Remember people's names, treat people with respect, appreciate. That's great. If you're the type of person who's an extrovert and this flows naturally to you, and you're a social butterfly, the world's your oyster. But if you're an introvert, let me speak to the introverts out there. If you're an introvert, you need to be very intentional with your time. You be very intentional when you walk into a room because you're scared, you're intimidated. I don't know what I'm doing here. You need to say, all right, my goal is to make 3 connections. 3 connections. Like me, when I would go into a room of hundreds of people, I'm trying to get as many business cards as possible. I'm trying to shake as many hands as possible. I'm trying to be that guy that everybody remembers. Cool. And that works well for extroverts. You're a floater, but people can tell if you're being fake. So there's a fine balance if you're an extrovert between, hey, I'm a good networker, I'm appreciative, I'm respectful, versus I'm a tryhard.
Yeah.
Never cool to be a tryhard.
So what's the mindset going if somebody's going to go network at an event, what are some of the things they should be thinking about? The outcome. What should their outcome be looking towards?
Okay, so it's all about intentions. So as far as outcome goes, well, number one, before you show up, look good. If you're going to a networking event and you're just showing up and you're kind of the sloppy guy, or you kind of you got food on your face, you're sloppy. It's just, people like doing business with people they like. One of the things I've learned, whether you're in the real estate business, whether you're in financial services, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you work in tech, whatever it is, we're in the people business. People like doing business with people they like.
Yes.
So if you're, when you're, it's all about, when I go to networking events, I understand, all right, because think about it. let's say, I don't know whether you're traveling or not, right? Regardless. So a lot of time, like what I would do is I live in Miami, but I met Pat in Texas at a networking event. So something needs to shift, meaning, all right, I'm on a flight or I'm driving someplace. Okay, cool. I'm talking to my girl. I'm talking to my friends. I'm doing my thing. Once I step into the lobby or the hotel or the business conference, whatever it is, it's flip the script. All right, I'm in networking mode. My phone, all the other bullshit that I'm dealing with, family drama, girlfriend drama, friend stuff, whatever, social media stuff, phone off. I am here and I'm very clear on why I'm here. I'm here to network. I'm here to socialize. I'm here to be remembered. I'm here for people to remember me. I'm here to meet people and create connections. And then what happens is a trickle-down effect. All of a sudden, you're that guy. Like, what I do is, like, I differentiated myself from all the people in the financial services world, like Pat's world. Everyone sells life insurance. You know this very well at PHP.
Yes.
So people said, oh, what do you do? You're here to life insurance. Oh, you know how these people are all selling life insurance? Yeah, I'm buying life insurance. People are like, what does that mean? It's like, everyone here is selling you something. I'm here to buy your life insurance off of you for cash today. People are like, what are you talking about? So we have a fund that basically, it's almost like structured settlements or reverse mortgages. We're going to pay you capital for your asset. So that's a differentiator. But you need to be very intentional with what you're doing. Back to being an introvert. There's people that are watching this online. You're like, dude, I've never been to a networking event in my life. I'm not good at this kind of stuff. Go with 3 goals in mind. I want to meet 3 people that I can do something with. And then 3 turns into 5, and 5 turns into 10, and 10 turns into 20, and then play the long game. You're not going to just kill it in one meeting. But show up, look good, have a great attitude. One of the things I always say about Nat is she's got a great attitude. She comes into the office, bubbly, fresh. People want to be around her. That's attractive. That's an attractive quality. Again, even if you're an introvert and you don't want to be there, like, I don't want to freaking be here, act accordingly.
Yes. Quick question before we go on to the other one. When you went to that networking event with Patrick, what made you, like, how do you determine who you want to network in there? How do you know, like, who's the big dog? Like, how do you pick, like, oh, this is the guy I got to talk to? What would be, like, 2 things that immediately like, that's the guy?
So a lot of times at financial conferences, there's an pre-attendee list. Like they said, the following 1,000 people have signed up.
Right.
So do your homework. Like we just went to a meeting and nobody did their homework and we got fucking grilled. What I always do is I always reach out to the director of the meeting and I say, hey, is there a pre-attendee list? Yes, that usually always is that.
I did not know that.
Yes. I mean, sometimes there's not, like, for instance, the Vault, there was no pre-attendee list.
Right.
But, what you can also do is every meeting has a director. Someone's the executive director of the meeting, of the conference, of the event. If you, like, my thing was, all right, rather than meeting 1,000 different people, let me meet the person in charge. Hey, what's going on? Hey, nice to meet you. I go right up to them because a lot of times you're paying to be at these events. They want you to be there, so you keep paying money.
Right.
A lot of my times, at these conferences, my company would sponsor events. We'd pay $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 to be there at these events. Right? Like, at PHP, they have carriers there. They're paying money to be there.
Yes.
So you get in good with the executive director, and then they will open up access to you. Work smart, not hard.
I love that. I hope you guys caught that. That's a huge one, especially like going to events with like strangers, approaching the right people at those events. Because you can go to this event and spend a lot of money and you don't get exactly what you need out of it because you're not in the right place. And then also,
as far as like being intentional, so my business, so let's say I go to a networking event, my business is all US based. Okay, so I used to go to this conference called the $1 Million Roundtable, MDRT, $1 Million Roundtable. If you're in the financial services business or in the insurance business, you know exactly what this meeting is. It's a massive, massive meeting.
Right.
The catch is that it's international. You're meeting people from India, you're meeting people from Japan, you're meeting people from Bangladesh, you're meeting people from Canada, you're meeting people from the States. And on their badge, it'll say where they're from, their name and where they're from. If I see that they are not based in the US, no disrespect, I'm not talking to you.
Save your time.
Like, hey, if I see you at the bar later, you'll tell me all about what it's like in Bangladesh.
Yeah.
In a business meeting, if I can't do business with you, keep it moving, partner. So that's as far as like how do you differentiate who to talk to? If I see that you're from Kansas, my guy, Kansas, go Jayhawks. If I see you're from India, hey, Enjoy Mumbai. I'm out.
Gotcha. That's really good. I love that.
Thank
awesome. Now we'll go into a life question. You want to do a life question? Or do you want to read the super chats we have really quick? Let's read these super chats. First one we have by Moon Pilled Rational Optics, $5. Any plans to have Rolo Tomasi, MLD John, and Sterling Cooper on the show?
I've had all three of those gentlemen on the show.
Are we saying
Rolo Tomasi's been on the show, I'm guessing,
so many
a dozen times.
Yes.
That's my guy. MLD came in from, he lives in Japan. He lives in Tokyo.
MLD is
Jonathan Hogwood, your boy, Modern Life Dating.
Yeah.
He flew in, respect. I really appreciate him coming here.
Mm-hmm.
He made the rounds. He was on the show. Mm-hmm. And Sterling Cooper was on a couple shows ago.
Yeah, Sterling actually shocked me. He gave me like he talked a little bit about like different things. I didn't know like men do those things. So that was really interesting to actually have him on. But maybe we can have them on with like a certain lineup with others.
Okay.
Then we have Jose Beatriz, $10, 23, close to $100,000 yearly income, but I have a pretty much no social life and not talking to women. I don't see the rest of that chat right here.
Wants to socialize more.
What is some advice to socialize more and meet more girls when all I have is work going on? That's a great question.
Okay. I mean, you're 23, you're making $100,000 a year. Mm-hmm. Congrats, man.
Yeah.
Okay. So just understand, I don't know many 23-year-olds making that much.
Correct.
Okay. I totally get it. Of course, you want to go out, meet some women, socialize. But a lot of people will what's the term? It's like all or nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. I get it. You're telling me you don't have one Saturday night that you can go out and socialize? I think you're being a little extra right now, bro.
Yeah. I think you're not maybe like you want to do it, but like you're not encouraged to do it. Like you're not motivated, I should say, to do it.
Have a homie.
It's get a
so
homie
important to have a crew, a homie, like roll dogs. And they say, yo, it's Saturday night. Like you're not working, dude. You know, from 9 to 2 in the morning, you're not working. Get a life. Okay. Work your ass off. Do whatever you got to do. Monday through Friday, Monday through Sunday, whatever it is. You can't tell me you take 3-4 hours to go out and have a good dinner, friends, drinks, whatever.
Yes.
Okay. With all due respect, put down the computer, put down the paper, get out there.
Or, because honestly, I personally like to meet people. Like, I like to talk to people that I meet in person. Okay. So like meeting people also in like places where you normally go. I think that's something you should take advantage to. Like if you're going to the store and you always go to the store, you love the store, maybe you make an effort to talk to a girl in that store because obviously you have something in common if you're there together. Same thing at the gym. You know, a lot of girls, they are mean, but you'll find a few nice girls like in the gym. I personally like to meet people at the gym just because it's like, all right, man, like, you know, mindset, discipline, like you kind of are on the same, you already have things in common without being spoken to. Like when you approach people in areas that you are in, church, gym, going to the store, like those areas, like don't overlook the everyday things that you're doing because you also are like missing the people in front of you. So don't think like, oh, I got to meet a girl in the club because that's where the baddies are. It's not true. Yeah. That's not where the baddies are. But that would be something like that I would consider as well.
I think I will say as a guy, because I believe that the guy 99% of the time is the one doing the approaching.
Right.
It's a lot easier to approach a woman in a social setting.
Correct.
Where it's expected. Bars, lounges, clubs, restaurants, what have you. Going up to a girl in the gym, going up to a girl at the shopping mart, at Publix, whatever.
Yeah. But it wouldn't be like going up.
They're kind of like so caught off guard.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be, I don't mean like, hey, you look good today. Not like that. Okay. It's kind of like, okay, we're in line together and she's looking at an item and you know that item, right? You're like, oh, I see that stuff. Like do like a little side comment and be like, you wouldn't like that. It tastes like crap. Like a girl would look around and be like, what do you mean?
That's funny.
That is like,
there's a line out there,
that's like something like a pickup. Yes. Like when people comment on things I'm looking at, they're like, oh, don't get that. I'm like, why?
Yes.
Because like people are looking for I
wish I had a little ding. Nat just dropped our first gem. You see a girl at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Whatever she's picking out, say, hey, you might want to rethink that decision.
Or be like, I love that. That's a good one. Goodbye. I like where your mind's at.
There.
What's your name?
Yes.
Now you compliment. Now you have things in common, But don't be weird. Please don't be weird.
And then you say, exactly. You just keep it moving and you say, I'll see you in the next aisle.
Yeah.
You kind of keep it,
see.
And now she's like, am I really going to see this guy in the next aisle?
I kind of do. I kind of know.
Maybe I'm.
Like,
Now she's
should
thinking.
I buy this?
Now she's thinking. All right, in the next aisle, it's like.
Because honestly, when you walk away, remember you guys are not in like a club environment. So you guys are in like a space of like just like your common public environment. So like you walk off and she walks off. She's like, he was actually kind of cute. I wonder if I'm going to like it because he said I'm going to like it. Like now you're like, this person's already kind of tell me what I am going to like and what I'm not going to like. And hey, that leaves like memories for a woman. Just saying. Okay. Just saying.
Great insight by Nat, our first gem of the day.
Awesome.
That's advice at the supermarket.
Yes.
Don't comment on the person, comment on the product and how their feelings would be attached to the product.
You know what's a good compliment to again?
Go ahead.
A girl at the gym? You probably guys are going to be like, no, don't do that. But it'd be like, wow, you're really strong. Have you lifted before?
Well, you work out, bro? You ever lifted, bro?
No, but like you look really good. Like you don't want to say like you look good because the girl's like, I know you're checking me out in the gym.
Don't compliment.
If you compliment like what she's doing, like wow, you have great form. Like do you do weightlifting before? Like how do you know? Like
you must do this often.
You must
like,
do this often. Great
squat
like
form.
For you can even say like usually girls they come in they're kind of lost and you look like you know what you're doing.
You look pretty strong for a girl.
Yeah, but. But the thing is, though, girls are looking for like those compliments. Like when girls are doing something, they're looking to be complimented what they're doing.
All right.
Let's move on to a life question.
Let's do it.
Life question, okay. This one is, how was hanging with Tate? When are you partying with the top G? This is by CMT Morales.
Okay. How was Tate? I mean, obviously, let's
give us the real.
Yeah, let's talk at the interview and then let's talk off camera.
Okay. Should we drink for that?
Sure. Cheers. Let's go. Here's to you, Mr. Tate, if you're watching.
Touched this.
Obviously, on the interview side of things, it was awesome. Just, there was 3 of us in a room, 8 hours, Pat, myself, Tate, our production crew.
Before you go into it, what was your, what were you expecting when you got to meet him? Were you expecting him to be kind of like, oh, like, I'm just the top G, like, who are you? Like, I'm cancel, I'm running the internet right now. No. Were you thinking like, this guy's going to be my homie? Like, what was your mindset going in?
I kind of went in with like, let's just see how this guy is, right? Like, I didn't think he'd be a dick. I didn't think he'd be the coolest guy ever. I just, figured it's Tate, kind of know what to expect online. What I will say is super friendly, very cool. Got along, obviously, after you spend 8 hours in a day with each other, you exchange information, we're in touch. Right. Now we're talking about stuff on Connect. By the way, we've dropped a new app called Connect where you can have conversations with people like Andrew Tate, like Kevin Connolly, like PBD, BizDoc, Chaz Palminteri, Sam the Bull, myself. We're all on this app called Connect that has been rolled out by VT, and Tate's on it. And so we talk a lot about what's going on, about the interview, about our connections at Tate, and the emoji. Tate's emoji game, strong.
Ooh.
The muscles, the hearts, the winks, the like. He's actually very friendly in person. He's actually, he's a top G. He's a top G.
Yeah.
G stands for gentleman. He's actually a pretty cool freaking dude. Now I have like family members, cousins of mine, girls I've known forever. They're like, I can't believe that you've associated with this person.
Wow.
I can't believe you posted pictures of this person. And I'll say, well, what do you know about them?
Yeah.
They'll say things like, I've heard him talk shit about women. I say, okay. That's one comment. Did you watch the 5-hour interview? No. Have you watched any of his content? I would never. It's like, then okay.
Yeah.
You're rushing to judgment.
Yep.
Right? In this country, we have innocent before proven guilty. People are basically proving him guilty before they've even had the opportunity to assess what he stands for.
Yeah.
The guy's a man of conviction. The guy's a man of faith. He stands up for what he believes. He believes that men need to improve, get better, that life's tough. It's fucking not easy out there for a man. But if you go through the fucking shit and you come out on the other side, you'll be a way better man for it. And he's done that. And he truly believes that. Whether that's mindset, whether that's physical, whether that's emotional, whether that's depression, that's all that. So one of the more impressive dudes I've ever had the opportunity to be around. And like, listen, I've got a pretty... I'm a confident guy, right? Like I don't think I have a big ego. I think I'm, I can kind of take jokes like with the best of anyone. I'm not like
sensitive.
I'm not sensitive whatsoever. Meaning that I feel like I'm accomplished. I feel like I've done stuff in my life. But I'm sitting there on one hand, Tate is across from me.
Yeah.
Total G. And on my left is my mentor and boss, CEO, PBD. And I'm looking at an alpha male and an alpha male, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, somebody pinch me how I'm hanging out with these two guys right now.
I bet.
Right? But that goes back to my initial question. I understand social dynamics and networking and when to speak and when not to speak, when to be respectful, when to speak up, when to lend a voice, when to shut the fuck up. A lot of people don't know the social skills and social positioning. So back to the Tate situation, the guy's a G. He's totally smart. He's very accomplished. He's very equipped. He's very capable. He'll whoop someone's ass. He'll outschool your ass. He'll beat you in chess. He'll beat you in fighting. He'll beat you in a debate. And that's going to rub people the wrong way. So overall, very impressed with the guy. And
when are you going to party with him?
Yeah, he invited me and Pat to come hang and visit him in Romania.
Ooh.
Pat said, respectfully, I'm married. I've got kids. I'd like to stay married. I said, Tate, not married, no kids. I'll see you in a couple of weeks, homie. So we have a mutual friend, Justin Waller. Justin, I don't know if you're watching this, and we'll maybe do a trip out to Romania, maybe Eastern Europe. Maybe we kind of go see what's going on in Prague. And then you never know. Maybe meet a wife out there.
Stay tuned.
But it'd be like, here's what I would say. It'd be so easy for me to throw him under the bus.
Yeah.
To be like, I just interviewed Andrew Tate, and you wouldn't believe the following, and create some controversy. I found out he's actually a misogynist, and he's actually a piece of shit. It's just not the case.
Yeah.
It's
I
not
think that's
the
what
case.
people are looking for.
Of course. They want to be like, yo, Saz, tell us the truth, throw him under the bus. Not going to do it because it's just not true.
Yeah.
A lot of people are doing videos, reaction videos, basically talking shit about the guy when they know nothing about him because it's easy eyeballs, it's easy content that you can kind of capitalize on. Not going to do it.
Yeah.
Not going to do it.
Can I tell you, I avoided watching all of his content just because all I saw was short clips and they were like really badly cut up. Like they made him look really bad. So I really avoided all of his content.
Really?
So when you guys were going to go to Madrid and Spain, I was like, this is the interview I'm going to watch. This is going to give me the good, the bad, the ugly, the new information. And it's going to explain why he is the way he is. And it was exactly that.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he was coming from a way of like, hey, he addressed, I loved how the first 20 minutes you guys addressed all the controversy, all the little short clips, everything. Everything was broken down to like, okay, so what's your reasoning behind that now? So I thought it was really, really.
It was not a softball interview. If you've watched the interview, we weren't like, hey Tate, we're huge fans.
Yeah.
Thanks. It's like we're gonna do a 5-hour interview. We're gonna push you, push back, tell us what you stand for. You think Pat's gonna come there and try to kiss someone's ass? No fucking way.
Nope.
If anything, Tate was like, yo, Pat, I respect you.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was your what did you pre, during, post, your thoughts on Tate from a female?
When I first started seeing those clips, I was like, man, I really don't like the way this guy is delivering the message. Now I knew he was more so on like similar beliefs as me, so I was like, he can't be too far off on like what I agree with because he's similar to the content that I usually watch. I think I was more so looking for that like arrogant, like off camera, like I'm an asshole. But to get like that interview where you see like, I think this interview really showed people that like he felt like he could be honest. He felt like he can really like be how he is and it not be turned into something different. And I think that's what made the content so special is that it was authentic content. It wasn't like, hey, we're trying to get short clips, to make it was no like ill will. And then during when you guys were like when he was really getting canceled, I started piquing a little bit more interest. I did watch a little bit of an interview of him and I was like, I agree with this. Like this is not something that I'm offended by. And then after post, I'm like, yeah, this guy is exactly what everybody thinks that he's not. Everybody thinks he's like this evil man that's trying to like, crush the man. And I'm like, it's really not that. Like if you're looking to be offended, you can be offended. Like if you want to be offended, you'll find it. But if you really give them a fair chance to explain X, Y, like A through Z, you can really put yourself in that position. Like I get what he's saying, But if you're automatically offended, it's your problem. You're in a place where like you're just offended. You're really sensitive, and you need to fix that. Yeah,
and this is coming from a woman who's definitely not like. You're not a feminist.
No,
you're not like
all.
You're not like
Not
I
all.
want to be a housewife. You're very much in the middle, moderate. Like you can be molded. You can understand that
Yes.
you understand that a male, is the quote unquote leader of the household, but also that the woman has a major role.
Right.
I've seen your parents, you know, Marvin, total G, successful
I'm surrounded
guy.
by that, yeah.
But your mom, she ain't no pushover. She ain't no housewife. She's a worker.
Right.
She's a smart woman. She's a tough cookie.
But at the end of the day, my dad is the one who's like, you know, the head and everything.
And yet one of the things that he says is that some of the stuff that I'm saying was not that controversial 20 years ago.
It wasn't.
This has been thousands and thousands, millions of years of men do this, women do this. And essentially what he's saying is that genders have been so conformed these days. Men can do this. Men can be more sensitive. Men can be more stay at the home. Women can be the boss. Women can be a CEO. And like, that's what's going on in this kind of, and he's like, listen, for millennia, men do this, women do this.
I just think he's like locker room talk. He's talking to the guys the way like girls really want to talk to the guy. Bruh, get your shit together.
Yes.
You're fat. You're lazy. I need you to go to the gym. I need you to do X, Y, and Z. Like, if that comes from a girl, you're going to be like, this girl's crazy. She thinks she knows everything. But if you have a guy who's where you want to be telling you that, you're like, this is my dog. Like, he wants good for me. Like, and I'm not knocking the locker room talk. If that's what's going to get you to change your life and do better, go ahead and talk to them like that.
I'll tell you something. You wouldn't believe how many conversations I've had since the interview, pre, post, during, with all that. There's the exception is not the rule, granted. The men that appreciate him, they're a certain type of man. They're more of an alpha, strong, capable, successful, confident type of guy. The guys that don't like him are more, you know, the beta types. I can't believe he would say something like that. I don't believe that. You know, like they're more pro-feminist women.
There's also women for that, though.
Yeah.
There are women who want that in a guy. And if that's how you naturally are, kudos to you. But just know what's going to come with that. And that's fine. If you want to be like how you are, and there's a girl out there for you. There is, I promise you, especially with so many like girls out there, you'll find one. But I think it's important, like, you guys have to get clear on the type of girl you want. You know, I remember when Pat would talk about like when he decided like, I want to find a wife. You know, he became very clear on like, I want this, I want this, I want her to do this, I want her to know how to do this. If she doesn't know, she needs to learn this and this and this. And I think that will give you a clear like, okay, I know what I'm looking for at this point. So that's kind of just like my take on that.
Who, I don't know, D Stone said I'd value to him. And Adam, talk about your new chick in Madrid. Can't talk. I spoke about that on the show yesterday.
Yes.
I have a new friend in Madrid.
Connection.
That's looking for a ring, but we ain't there yet, mate. Anyway, bottom line is I respect what Tate is doing. It'd be very easy for me to throw him under the bus. That's not the type of person I am. That's the type of person we are. People we are here at Valuetainment. If there was something that I disagreed upon, I would openly say it. I have no problem challenging someone's opinions.
I do disagree, like that. Not like men shouldn't like cheat. I don't like that personally. Just because that's where like your morals and your respect and like your authentic self comes in. Of course, every guy's different. Every guy's gonna have a different opinion. They're gonna feel whatever status when they want, sure, whatever. But I think there's value that comes to keeping your word to somebody. There's something there that it just makes the bond a little bit more sturdy. It makes your like partner like, I really got your back.
Yeah, number one, I agree with you.
Yeah,
I think
that's the only thing I would say. Like, nah, I'm not five wives.
I'll say three things. There's a difference between cheating and being a cheater. Okay, a cheater, a serial cheater, is just someone who just completely disrespects the person that they're with, and they have no. They have no problem just completely cheating and disrespecting someone. Someone who cheats, and there's different levels to cheating. There's, flirting, texting, there's, a kiss, there's sex. There's so many different levels of cheating.
Yeah.
But if you tell a woman up front, and this is what he does, hey, look, I'm a fucking wild animal. Okay? If you want to try to jump on this fucking ride, best of luck. I'm going to be all over the world doing my thing. Fair enough. If I show up with a little, lipstick on the collar, don't bust my freaking balls here. Okay? I'm coming home to you. And if you position it like that and the woman says, okay, more power to you. Yes. But for the most part, I 100% agree. If you're in a committed relationship with somebody, cheating is not the way to go. But if you're in a committed relationship with somebody, as an example, let's say I'm dating a girl, I live with her and we live in Miami, whatever. I'm around the world in Madrid and I end up having a glass of wine, flirting with a girl at dinner one night, no sex, no nothing. I don't think that's the end of the freaking world. We shouldn't break up because I flirted with a girl in Madrid one time. So there's levels to this, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Again, there's difference between being a cheater, scumbag, and just kind of.
So I have a question for that. Okay, so say you have a guy who does go take other girls out on dates, but they don't do anything. What would be something that your current girl could do to help you stop doing that? What would be like, where's the lacking that she doesn't provide?
I think at the end of the day, it all starts with empathy and communication. Okay, so rather than go, you fucking scumbag, I heard you. It's like, okay, you're a little emotional right now. I get it. If you love this girl, and if you don't love her, you're not going to give a shit. But if you love this girl and she says, hey, look, I don't know what happened when you were in Madrid. I don't know what happened when you were out, but just know that the thought of that really hurts me. And it really hurts me. And I love you so much. And the fact that you're hurting me, it makes me feel like shit. Would you be okay with not doing that to me? And if you're a real man and you care about this girl, you'd say, baby, I'm so sorry. I won't do that. Okay? But because a man will react way, way better to something like that than, I went through your phone, you're a fucking piece of shit. It's like a guy's going to be like, you are fucking insane.
Nuts.
And by the way, even if the guy was wrong, now you look like the crazy person.
Easy, just
now
like that.
you look like the psychopath where it's like, I didn't want to know when I'm dealing with you. Now you wonder why I did whatever I had to do. So there's men are typically more logical, women are typically more emotional. I get it. But I know men who are emotional, I know women are logical. So again, not all exceptions don't make rules. But if you came to your man like that, hey, babe, I just want to let you know, I don't know what happened. I'm not accusing you of anything. Just if you do that, it would really hurt me. And I love you so much. Please don't do that. A man who's empathetic and cares about their woman will take that to heart and be like, wow, my girl's a freaking G. And she could have fucking freaked out on me. She could have freaking caught me. But she was very cool and casual about it.
We sometimes wonder that. If you approach certain situation, like, should I approach it this way? Should I approach it this way? We wonder, like, do men consider the way we approach it? Because sometimes you can approach it in a respectful way and they're like, no, girl, no, you're tripping. Like, it's all in your head, and they'll gaslight you and they'll do all that. So it's like...
Because if you're going to talk to your girls and get advice from your girls, he's a scumbag, you can't trust him. They're going to... Because especially if they're single, they want you back with the single clique. Okay? But if they're married and they have a good relationship, they'll kind of coach you a little bit differently. Hey, listen, I've dealt with something like this. Here's why I went wrong. Here's what you got to understand. But also, the more, as a man, the more status you have and the more that you're bringing to the table, the easier, the more you can kind of, the more leeway you have.
Get away with.
Not get away with. I don't want to make it seem like I did this and I got away with it. But it's more, if you're paying the bills, you're living in a great life, and and like the wife is living in a good situation, are you really trying to rock the boat and throw a grenade and jump on the grade yourself because your husband may or may not have done something that you allegedly think is disrespectful? There's like so many
things in it.
At the end of the day, being as logical and rational as possible is the best advice I can give for both sides.
Gotcha. I like that.
Did you like that or no?
That.
Do I get a gem for that one?
You get a gem for that one. We can take
Thanks,
a sip.
Nat.
Sip. There you go. I need to...
go easy, young lady. I'm feeling it a little bit. By the way, guys, it's now 5:00 on a Friday. If you're just getting out of work, if you're just joining us, respect. Thank you. We love you. We appreciate you. We do this show for you. We're answering your questions that you delivered on Instagram. We're going to answer your questions in the super chat. We're going to actually, I think, somehow make phone calls. Probably not today.
Not today.
But next week, we're going to be answering your phone calls. But we're just getting started on this. You guys know what we do on Thursdays.
Yes.
You know that we have amazing people, men, women come here and they tell their story and I ask them questions. But this is something where you can get a little bit more familiar with Sos and Nat, and we can get a little more familiar with you.
So give us personal questions. Even if you do like anonymous questions, give us those anonymous good questions so like we can really help you out.
I'm gonna answer a couple questions right here in the chat right here.
Go ahead.
By the way, JG says $10. Natalya, stay feminine, real baby. Respect. Real one right there.
Yes.
Terrell Xavier, thank you. He says, was that your first time smoking a cigar?
Oh.
Funny story.
Uh-oh.
I don't smoke cigars all that often. Those are very, very good cigars, and I had no problem smoking them. One of my friends, he goes, Sos, since when do you smoke cigars? Anytime I've seen you smoking something, it wasn't a cigar, bro. I've seen you smoke blunts before. I'm like, there were no blunts available, buddy. There were no joints available. So I went with a cigar. And then if you're around fucking the top G
You're gonna
and
smoke
he gives
it.
you a cigar, you smoke the cigar.
You smoke it.
Let's have a little respect
Yeah,
here.
it's true. It's true.
Okay, so thank you for that question.
I'm not a cigar girl. I'm not really.
No,
into that, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll go to relationship. Next question we have.
Sure.
This is actually an interesting question. When you invite a woman over to your house and she says, "How many women have you invited here?" What do you say? LOL. California one-stop shop. That's who it's from. So how many other women have you invited here?
Okay, so when a woman asks you how many other women have been here, it's a test. She's throwing something out there to see how you respond. Okay? In my younger days, I would have said something, ego, I'd have been like, something a little kind of like, you're like, I've lost count kind of a thing.
You would say that?
No, I'm just saying I would have said something like that.
Okay.
Okay, just because I would have wanted, like, I'm the man, I have chicks here all the time. Now I know what I've learned. I would probably say something like, yeah, a few, I can't remember who they are because I'm more focused on you. Something a little bit more of that.
That was like to the left, right.
Yeah, bang. So at the end of the day, the woman is asking for two reasons. She just kind of wants to test you a little bit.
She wants to know you, like how you're gonna respond to a question that's like thrown at you. You're like,
but then she also wants to feel special.
Of course.
So if you can kind of address it and understand that it's not that serious of a question, you've never dated, you're not dating this girl. She just kind of wants to know you better. You can play with it, but then make her feel special.
But here's the thing: if she's already at your house and she's asking that, you kind of already know like what she's doing there. I don't really know if like your answer matters at that point.
First time at your house,
but like, any girl that goes to a guy's house and it's like, we don't know what we're doing yet. What are you gonna do at your house?
All right.
Come on.
Okay. Well.
You have to know, like, something's going to go down.
But, well, there's two different situations here.
What are you going to say? Oh, I had 16 girls here. You don't want to sleep with me anymore?
Well, she's at your house at the beginning of the night or the end of the night? Okay? Because that's very different.
Well, beginning, you're about to go out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I always recommend, if you're going to go out, take a girl on a date, if possible, have her come to your house, send her an Uber, have her valet the car, park the car, whatever it is. Come to your house, have a cocktail, get familiar, and then go to at least 2 to 3 different spots. Because then a girl wants to feel like she's on a field trip with you.
Oh.
All right, great. We're going to go to a bar. We're going to have a drink. Then we're going to go grab a dinner. Then we're going to go to an after party. Next thing you know, you've been to 3, 4 different spots. This girl's like,
she's like,
wow,
he's resourceful.
Like
he knows.
We're going all over. We're having a good time. I trust this guy. It's not like he's trying to keep me captive in his house. It's not, we go to one place, we go back to the house. It's awkward. Right. Next thing you know, you've been to 3 different spots. It feels like a field trip with this girl. Her car's at your house. And then it's finally like, hey, let's go back to my place so we can have a nightcap or just kind of like grab your stuff, whatever. And hey, do you want to come up? And then it's just an easy transition.
Wow, that's a good answer.
So the point is that I'm getting to is that the beginning of the night is a lot different from the end of the night. Okay.
But what if you do like lunch? Say you're on a lunch date.
Fuck that. Lunch date.
Lunch date.
I don't do lunch dates. I'm working.
Do night dates?
I don't know if I could probably count on one hand how many times I've done a lunch date.
How does your lunch dates go?
I don't do it like lunch date.
Yeah.
No, sorry.
What's the point of a lunch date then?
I mean, I would only do a lunch date if it's like, hey, I'm so busy this week. I would only do a lunch date if I'm like so into the girl and that's like the only time that she's got time and the only time I got time. Lunch date. Lunch date? No.
Could you bring a girl home from a lunch date? That's a good question.
I mean, you could.
How?
Hypothetically.
How would you do that?
It's a lot harder to do.
Are you full? Let's go lay down.
Well, listen. Let's get real here. You see what we're doing right here? These drinks?
Yes.
It's a lot easier to get a girl back to your place if she's got a drink or two. When there's a lunch date and she just ordered the fucking BLT and she's got to go to work, it like, unless she's trying to like, yo, quickie really quick.
Yeah.
Very, very not easily done.
Yeah.
So,
but it's doable.
Okay, are you speaking from experience? What are you saying right now?
I'm just saying because I'm
saying,
sure
Nat?
people do lunch dates and they go do whatever after.
Yeah,
Sometimes they go like early dinner and then it goes into night. And
I would totally do that.
See, that's...
Listen, at the end of the day...
I don't do lunch dates.
You know,
either,
there's a
honestly.
song out there that the freaks come out at night, right? Not to get too freaky here. There is something definitely more sexy, fun, vibey about doing it sundown versus
1,000%.
12 o'clock, hot as shit,
Yeah.
hot, like
Sweating.
like you're sweating, your fucking
Makeup.
report's due in a couple hours. No, that's not hot.
Yeah, it's true.
You know,
that is very true.
Lunch is not hot. Dinner's hot. See or no?
See.
For all our Spanish speakers out there, there you go.
But you can always like send lunch. Hey,
Yeah.
I was thinking about you. I sent you lunch.
Okay, by the way, these people that are dropping $2, $1.99.
Yes.
I don't know if that's enough money to answer your question. Okay, so I'll give you, this isn't a question, so a podcast with Adam, Fresh and Fit, Natalya, that'd be great. Of course, we were just on Fresh and Fit.
Yes.
They know about you. They asked about you. PBD said that we should go there. That's great.
Yes.
But I don't think that we should prioritize $1 questions
give
over
us
people
some.
that have already asked questions.
Yeah, let's get
So if
these
you want us to
questions.
ask your question, I would say, what's the minimum?
Yeah.
Minimum what?
Yeah.
$10, $50?
I
what?
would say minimum would be 15, 20.
15? Call it 20.
20.
Okay.
Save that money, huh?
$20, you'll skip the line, we'll go top of the line, but we're not going to answer $1 questions because we've got a lot to cover over here.
Yes.
We're going to do this for another 45 minutes. Get your questions in. We're talking money. We're talking relationships. We're talking life. And you're here with Saz and Natalya on the Soscast on Tainment. Let's go.
Pick the next one, my friend.
Okay.
Which one is that one?
Life questions.
Okay, number 2.
All right, go ahead. After that one, go.
Let's see. Alrighty. I'm trapped. My boss is my dad and has my whole life about work. My relationship with my dad has deteriorated into a boss-employee relationship. Advice, David Baum?
David, okay.
That's a great question.
Wow, what a question.
That is a great question.
So read it one more time, please.
I'm trapped. My boss is my dad and has my whole life about work. My relationship with my dad has deteriorated into a boss-employee relationship. Any advice? That's a great question.
Yeah, I think, and by the way, you know who can answer this question? I would say 99% of the people listening can answer this question the exact same way. Your father, the relationship with the son and father comes first, second, third, fourth, fifth, way before a working relationship. I get it. You guys have a working relationship. I don't know what you guys do together. That is important, but it is in no way as important as the relationship a father and a son had. I had a very contentious relationship with my father. There's no way that I'd work with my father ever. On the other hand, Pat and his dad have a very amazing relationship.
Right.
The relationship that a man can have with his son or a son can have with his dad is such an impactful thing. Such an impactful thing. We just talked about Tate. The guy, I mean, his father has shaped his life for good or for bad. So to our friend out there, you need to have a crucial conversation with your dad outside of work.
Yeah.
Take your dad to lunch.
Oh.
Okay? That's where you can do your little lunch date right there.
With the dads.
Take your dad to lunch and say, Dad, I'd like to take you to lunch. I don't want to talk about work whatsoever. I want to talk about life.
I think
Here's how I'm feeling. And just get it all out there.
Yeah.
And ask more questions than statements. Dad, why are you so hard on me?
Yeah.
What do you expect from me? I feel like our relationship has only become a transactional business relationship. Are you comfortable with that? And have an open dialogue with your dad. That is so important. And men don't want to have those kind of conversations.
Yeah, I bet.
Okay, you think how awkward that would be?
Yeah.
And if you're working together on top of that, you're going to affect the business. But something tells me, I don't know this guy's dad, something tells me that at the end of the day, the father would want to have a much better relationship with his son than a working relationship with his son.
Right.
And I think it just got completely out of whack, and it just kind of needs to come back into the natural state of order.
I actually relate to this question a lot because I worked with my family.
Of course.
So like I know what it's like to like work with a family and like feel trapped. You're like, well, this is my source of income.
Yeah.
These are the people that I love. Like it's not like I can just go quit and go work at another job and work for someone else. Like that's not really an option at that point.
Yeah. And you worked with your mom and your
my dad and my
together,
sisters.
and it was a family business.
Everybody.
Yes,
and
you're actually way more equipped to answer this question than me.
It just came like very overpowering at one point, and it wasn't that like I didn't love them or I didn't love the business. It wasn't any of that. It just was that I got clear that this was not what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And that's something that you have to like get clear about. Like, do you want to work with your dad for the rest of your life? If you don't, you need to come up with what you want to do and a plan for it, because you're talking to a business owner. You're not talking to like, hey, I have an idea and I think I want to, like, they would like you. How are you going to suffice the job that's paying you this income with something that you want to do? I promise you, if you give them a game plan and where you want to go and how you're going to start, they're more than likely going to be supportive only if you're able to replace what you do at that current position. Now, of course, no one's going to do it as good as you because, you know, you have that personal meaning. It is your business. It is your family. So that is very important to you. But I think before you go into like, hey, Dad, you know, I don't want to be business partners. He's going to say like, what do you want to be then? You're my son. That's not going to change anything. But like, what do you want to do? So I think you have to really get clear on like, where's your long-term you going to be? Just because especially like when you're talking to like, I'm sure like dads and sons, it's more of like let's be straight up, you know, like let's talk business, like real men talk. So if you go in there not ready and prepared, and then he's already coming in as like, I'm the boss, I'm telling you what to do. You're used to somebody telling you what to do. Now you're approaching them like, hey, this is what I want to do. And this is how I want to do it. Yeah. And when you ask them for feedback, what's your feedback? Now you're asking them to join me and to help myself be better in this area so I can succeed, and show me how I can replace myself to maintain the business you have. So I think you have to
Let me see the question
really
one more
clear.
time,
Yeah.
just so I can understand the wording. I'm trapped. My boss is my dad. He made my whole about work. My relationship with my dad has deteriorated to a boss. So it doesn't sound like he even wants to leave the business. He just wants to have a better working relationship with his dad. You know, like when I interviewed Matt Sapala and he was talking, he works with his wife. Yeah. And I say, what comes first, being a business partner or being a husband and wife? He goes, oh, a husband and wife for sure.
Right. But it's so easy to switch. It's different when you have a husband and wife and a parent and a child. Because a child is like, I'm telling you what to do. I'm your parent and this is what it's going to be done. And you're not going to be like, no, you're not. Because that's your parent.
I mean, I don't have kids. Yeah. Okay. But if I could imagine if I said this to my dad, or if my dad said this to me, and if I said, hey, listen, Dad, at the end of the day, I need a dad more than I need a boss. Yeah. The father is going to feel that. How could they not? Right. Hey, Dad, I want to be here. I want to work with you. I love being here. Yeah. But I need a dad. Yeah. Okay? Like, I mean, even if it's like Sundays, we just do Father Sunday. We don't talk business. Yeah. Have a little bit of balance.
There has to be.
You can do the 80-20 rule. You can do the 90-10. You can do 98-2, whatever. Yeah. It just can't be 100% work with the father-son. Yeah. Have a little family day. Yeah. So I hope, what was our friend's name who did this?
This was David Baum.
David, I hope you heard this. We're rooting for you, bro. We'd love to hear back next week how you approach this with your dad and if it helped the relationship. And I'm going to take the position of the dad right now because I don't know David. Right. The dad's probably saying, son, you need to work. Life's tough. Get your ass in gear. Let's do this. He might be one of those dads. Yeah. But life is all about balance. I hope you guys meet in the middle.
And also, your age, I think that's also important too. Like if you're very, very young, this whole phase that you're going through with your dad, like that's also building like your mental toughness into the real world. So don't take what your dad is saying necessarily like in a bad way. Take it in a way of like, okay, he's obviously trying to guide me, but like how can we do it where in a way I can be receptive to it as well.
Sick. Can we delete that? Yeah, exit that. All right, we got a couple actually super chats. People in the chat have basically heard what we're saying and says, we can't do this for, where you going, girl? Okay, go. If somebody offended Nat, I'm going to be very offended over here. Okay. No, don't allow. Oh, you want that? Done. Okay, sorry about that. Couple super chats. JG's $20 says that part about the field trip date, that's game, baby. Clip it, post it, got to keep them at 100%. Yes. Because you're basically doing 4 dates in one night. Yeah, that's hey, come over to my house. All right, cool. We'll go grab a drink. Then we're going to go to dinner. Then we're going to go to a lounge. We're going to after party. Yeah. And the girl's going to, tell me if I'm wrong, the girl's going to feel more safe and comfortable.
She's going to feel taken care of.
Exactly. Like when you're taking her all over. And by the way, you're doing this in one night. It's so much better than, yes, you come to we'll meet at a restaurant. We go to dinner. We sit at dinner. Have a good night. Boring. Yeah. Field trip, baby. Joey Parra said $50. Thank you. Perfect duo. Saz, love your show, brother. Full of valuable info. PBD, valuetainment to the top. I believe that's what it says. Respect to Joey Parra. Put some respect on Joey's name. Clip it, post it, post that thing right there. And then Kevin Pierce, $5. Any advice for growing a YouTube podcast without being able to live in big cities? Saz, love, PBD. Can we scroll this one over? Is that possible?
Yeah, you'll need to move it.
Zoomcast or whack. Local Joe sucks. Any advice for growing? Listen, man. You gotta align yourself with people better than you. I was good at making content. I'm very comfortable on screen. I freaking suck at the tech stuff. Oh, we lost the there you go. Now we're perfect. I suck at the tech stuff. I don't know anything about thumbnails. I don't know anything about, Google AdSense, YouTube AdSense. I'm horrible at that. So it depends on, are you more the tech person or more the on-camera person? I'm way more comfortable on camera making content. That's what I do. I suck at, like, shout out to Tyler, shout out to Kai, what these guys do with thumbnails and clips and titles. That's not my vibe. Mm-hmm. So, align yourself. Like, if you're more of the extrovert, have a business partner as an introvert. If you're more of the tech person, have more person as the outgoing person. If you're more of the product person, have a salesperson.
Find people where you lack. It's going to make your life a lot easier.
If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Love that.
Go as a team. And that's why we're going far, Nat, together as a team, motherfucker. Anywho, thank you guys for the questions. Friday, SOS and Nat Q&A on the Soscast on VT. Where are we going from here?
Let's do we just did money. Let's do a relationship one. Okay. Why are good guys getting wives from other countries with better cultures? You're Nick. Why are good guys getting wives from other countries with better cultures?
Okay, so I assume that person's in America and you're talking about shipping people in from other countries potentially. I guess it's just what type of wife do you want? I mean, I live here in Miami. A lot of my friends are married to Brazilian women, Colombian women, Russian women.
Maybe it's because they find those people from other countries, they find more opportunity here, not just like work, but like opportunity in everything. Like men, or women, like foreigners, they come here, they're like, wow, the men they're so hot. They're, the guys come in, they're like, damn, the women here are just amazing. So I think like when the foreign people come here, they're a little bit more like, when people show that appreciation of like, you love where they are and where they come from, I think that's also attractive, like you have a girl that comes from a different country and she's like, wow, you live in such a beautiful city. Like, you have such a good environment. Like, that makes you feel good. You're like, yeah, I carry myself well. I have good qualities. I have good things. And I think maybe it's a little bit easier to impress. Mm-hmm. Maybe. Because
what's easier to impress exactly?
Just like the things that they don't have there. People see America like this is the land of opportunity and the land of, so they maybe see you included as well as the whole country a little bit more like opportunity.
Yeah, I think Eddie Murphy had a bit where he was like, this is years ago when he was just doing his thing, Eddie Murphy Raw, where he's like, basically the premise was like, I found you in a hut in Africa, girl, okay? And now you're demanding stuff. I'll put your ass back in the hut, right? So women in other countries, they probably have a little more appreciation being here in America, married to an American. Yeah. And there'd be a little bit more subservience, compliant, I just think like kind of more the housewife role. Whereas women in America, they're like, yeah, I'm from here. Like, I think I need your ass. I'll do whatever I want.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, it's like, how much pushback do you want? How much challenge do you want? Like we had Chelsea on yesterday, who's a beautiful, attractive, capable woman. She makes her money. She's an American woman who's basically saying like, we're 50-50. Yeah. And because I'm bringing a lot to the table. What are you looking at right here?
You see PBD's coming?
Where's PBD
I heard you guys came up with some incredible ideas today. 8 and higher.
Where's PBD at?
Right there, Valuetainment with the little wrench right there.
I heard you guys came up with some incredible ideas today.
Oh, we're coming, Pat. Don't worry.
I'm sorry. Whoever made that comment, we're only answering people who give money in the super chats. No. You got to pay to play here if you want to be on. If you want us to show respect, we're not just answering random questions. I'm sorry. Whoever just answered that, asked that from the Valuetainment account. You got to pay to play. It's a super chat. I'm sorry.
I'm
just not answering just regular chats. You got to pay to play. Is that a fair response?
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
But we could have done better in that meeting. That's for everybody.
Yes, don't worry. That's our homework this weekend.
If that is you, PBD, we appreciate you watching.
Yes, very much so. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's do maybe.
Here's this question right here.
Okay.
Felipe says, hey, Saz, you always talk about save that money. At what point do you start investing? How about leverage on real estate? What percentage save invest would you consider to be aggressive? Any rule of thumb or portfolio asset allocation? I'll answer this quickly.
Good question.
The whole point is to start investing when you don't need that money for long term. Okay, most people are living paycheck to paycheck. Most people don't have, 50% of Americans don't have $500 for an emergency. I tell people, save 10 grand. If you can save 10 grand cash, you've got that, you've got money to your name, then you can start investing. Because the whole premise of investing, you don't want to start investing and be like, oh shit, I have no money. Let me go pull my money out of the investments to start paying for stuff. Yeah. Saving is short term, investing is long term. Know the difference.
Yeah, I like that. That's a really good question. Very important too. Do you want to read? No, you want to go through these first?
Nope, keep going. What else we got?
Let's do a life question.
Shout out to Papa John's, who was just here.
Papa
John.
Big Papa. Shout out to Papa John. We have
here,
this.
How about this question right here? Hey, Adam, I'm 22 living at home and I've got about $13K saved up so far. Although it's good to save, I'm seeing a bunch of stuff about how do you want to save too much? At what point do I start investing? That's exactly what I just answered.
Yes.
Congratulations. Do we see a name for that gentleman?
It is Michael George.
That's Michael George. Great name.
George.
Not George Michael.
No, George Michael.
Right? Not George Michael. Legend, but Michael George. Michael, congratulations. You're 22. You've saved over 10 grand. You should definitely start investing now.
That was Pat. I got a confirmation that was Patrick. I knew it was you, Patrick. I knew it. Okay.
Yes, he was fired up. That's fair to say.
Now we're all fired up.
But anyway, congratulations, Michael George Michael. You saved up 13K at 22 years old. Respect. And you're living at home. Number one, if you're living at home, if I'm your parents, I would charge you rent.
Really?
Yes, even if it's $500 a month.
You would charge your child rent.
100%. I'm not saying that I'm going to charge them $2,000 a month.
Okay.
But they do need to contribute. You're 22. Okay. You're not 16 anymore.
Right.
You've got money in the bank.
Okay.
I mean, maybe your parents don't need the money, but it's not about the money at that point. It's about the responsibility and the mindset of like, listen, buddy, at some point you're going to be on your own. World. And once you move out, I don't want you back in here.
Yes.
Okay.
Makes sense.
So congratulations. Save that money. Awesome. Start investing. And if you're still living at home, and if you, well, what I'll add to that is if you're 22 and you're looking to move out and you have 13K saved up, you go move out, you're going to have to put down first, last, security, and all that fun stuff. Your 13K might go down to like 7K real quick.
That's a good one.
Then you start saving again.
Now I have an opposite question.
Okay.
This is actually a reality for many people today. I am flat broke.
Oh, shit.
Like, what a response. I didn't finish. I am flat broke, and I have $2 to my name in the street. I'm only 15 years old by AMD and XV.
Oh, my God.
What is your advice? That's a pretty valid question.
Well, you know
today.
who also is flat broke?
Who?
Every 15-year-old, okay? Like, what 15-year-olds are balling, okay?
Well, today, you find a few on TikTok that are balling, baby.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I mean, you'll find reality. A few. Anyway, you're 15. You're just of age to start working. You're about to get your driver's license potentially. Yeah. But I love it. I mean, the advice is so simple, but it's just start working. Start working.
What are the top 3 good first jobs?
Dude, at 15, anything. Anything.
But what would you say would be like a catalyst to like send them off?
Okay, a great first job being a server at a restaurant.
Really? Why?
You're going to learn social dynamics, interacting, how to talk to people, oh shit, when I did that, I got a good tip. When I did that, I got nothing. Oh, learn the hard way. Awesome. Boom. I think a job that is not good is anything to do with driving your car. Okay? Because let's say you made $100 that day. Yeah. How much did it cost you in gas? How much wear and tear did you have on your car? I don't know. I was a delivery guy in college. I used to drive all over, and let's say I made $5,000, whatever, in a month or two. Next thing you know, like a fuel gasket blows out. That's $1,500. It's like, holy shit. Listen, it all depends on your personality. There's some people that are like, dude, I don't like you. You're way too much. And there's some people that are gonna look at me like, yo, Saz is the fucking man. Is a G. I like the way. Yeah. I'm an extrovert. I like interacting with people. I'm not a materialist. I like collecting friends. I like collecting people. I like collecting relationships. Yeah. If you're more like me, do something dynamic, social dynamics, whether it's at a restaurant, at a bar, at a lounge, at a school, interacting with people. If you're not like me, do something more tech-driven, okay? Social media-driven. You can look at your phone all day. But I think no matter what, whether you're an extrovert, introvert, you're always going to benefit from being able to interact with others. That's always going to benefit you in the long run.
That is very true.
So if you're a 15-year-old kid, 16-year-old kid, you got to start somewhere.
Yes, I like that. Let's do let's do this one. I am as a 24 as a 24-year-old that escaped communism at 19, it's very difficult to find a good woman right now. So your advice to that from Manuel Mendez.
As a 24-year-old who escaped communism at 19. I think those are literally two separate issues.
Yeah.
The fact that you're 24 and you came over from a communist country at 19, and the fact that it's hard to find a woman is completely separate. Respect for you. Amazing. Welcome to America, motherfucker. Yeah. Okay? I mean, I have friends. I grew up in Miami, so I have friends, Cubans, Venezuelans, Argentinians, like Mexicans, who have all come from certain forms of socialism or even communism. Cuba, hello.
Yeah.
They're doing perfectly fine with the women.
Yeah.
Okay, that has nothing to do
with that,
with your social type of economics, right? But so those are two separate questions. You're conflating two issues. So respect, welcome to America. Let's pro-capitalism it up over here. But also, what are you doing to improve to get women?
Right. That's a big part.
That's totally separate.
Yeah, that's a huge part.
I don't understand. I think that he's maybe just giving context as background. But I don't think the fact that he came from a communist country, socialist country, should affect the fact that he can get women.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Just make sure you keep those things separate and you kind of get clear on what you're looking for and what you want.
Sí, señor.
Yes. This one says, this is a life question. Leveling up my emotional, physical, and mental state to bring out those 3 ups. Not sure if that's a question. I think that was a statement. Last one.
Okay. How do I level up my emotional, physical, and mental state to bring all of those 3 of those up? Okay, cool. That's actually something that I actually totally can relate to, because my entire motto of life. Okay, so let me just say something. Mm-hmm. I wake up every morning, other than days where I have a podcast and I have to be out the door by like fucking 6 a.m. and drive from Miami to Fort Lauderdale. I don't really have time to do that. But most days, I wake up and I do yoga. And I do an affirmation and I get mental clarity. And I always say what I'm grateful for and that I'm happy to be alive and that my body is healthy, my mind is focused, and my heart and soul are in the right place. I say this to myself. I say this to myself. I say this to myself. And I say that I am focused on 3 things: my health, my wealth, and my happiness. Okay, let's break that down.
Yes.
Health, wealth, happiness. Health, wealth, happiness. And I'm constantly giving myself a score 1 through 10 of my health, my wealth, and my happiness. I'm proud to say that I haven't been below an 8 on any of those in a very long time.
Very proud.
But it's not a 10 always. My health. Health comes first. Health comes first. Without health, you have nothing. Right. What do I mean by health? Am I exercising? Am I eating well? Do I look good? Am I feeling good? Like, am I sick? Am I not sick? Have I not gotten sleep? Where's my health at? Okay, cool. You know, I had COVID. I wouldn't say that I was 8, so that was 2 years ago I had COVID. But I'm constantly saying, all right, bro, you're at an 8 and you're definitely closer to a 7 than a 9. You need to hit the gym, dude. I'm constantly saying that. Wealth, cool. Luckily, I've had money in my life for quite some time now. Went from broke as a joke to chillin'. But there's levels to this game of wealth, and I'm constantly saying, all right, where am I at wealth-wise? Here's the big kicker, though. Happiness. What's happiness? Everyone wants to be happy. In my opinion, happiness stems from having meaning and purpose in your life and doing things towards that. Having meaning and purpose in your life is what creates happiness. One time I went to this event called the International Day of Happiness. It was a big happiness event. They're teaching people how to be happy, and it was a big day of happy. Wow. And my boy Jamie actually puts it on. And they said that they're able to scientifically track happiness. I said, all right, go on.
Talk about me.
And they said that like some people find happiness in buying things that they really like. And they scientifically said that it's basically the equivalent of a sugar high. So let's say you like shoes. You went and bought shoes. You put the shoes on. You're like, oh, fucking, I'm killing it. I love my shoes. Yeah. Scientifically, 3 days later, you're back to the same level you were.
It's true.
Okay, but if you do something like something that I've done so many times that I'm an advocate of, if you do something for other people, they say it's better to give than receive. So, for instance, I used to go to the Special Olympics every year of my life.
Really?
Okay, you've ever been to the Special Olympics?
No.
Oh my God, we're going this year.
Okay.
To all my friends out there, if you've never been to the Special Olympics, you have a completely different outlook on life once you go to the Special Olympics. These people, this is the biggest day of their life, and these people have conditions you couldn't fucking wish on your worst enemy. And you see these people who can barely walk, and they're in a wheelchair, or they've got cerebral palsy, or they've got mental disorders, they've got all sorts of situations going on, and they're in a race. And whether they finish in first place or last place and they finish the race, they are the happiest people on earth.
Wow.
And you know your role, you have a role, you know your job that day is the people that go and volunteer. Mm-hmm. The title of the volunteer, you're called a hugger. Mm-hmm. Okay, your job at the end of the day is to give them a hug at the end of the race.
Wow.
And you just go, and they're like, oh my God. Yeah. And you're like, oh, I'm so proud of you. And it's like, and scientifically, 3 days later, you're still almost as happy as you were 3 days prior. So I'm giving you an example of what it's like buying a material item. 3 days later, sugar high, you're gone.
Right.
But 3 days after you just volunteered to the Special Olympics, you still have basically a large chunk of it in your heart. Mm-hmm. So what I'm talking about of happiness is that having meaning and purpose in your life and doing things towards that, that is what makes you happy.
Yeah.
Okay. So every day, like people, if they don't know if they know this, I have a full on other financial career for financial firm, hedge fund. Yeah. I do that, but I do this because it gives me meaning and purpose. And I have friends here and I love it being a part of the environment. I've been a mentor in PBD, and that's given me meaning and purpose in my life. Insurance, finance, that's what I do, but it's not who I am. This is more who I am. So if you can find that meaning and purpose and work towards that, that's where you'll find your happiness.
I love that. That was a freaking gem for
you. Do I get a gem right there, baby?
You get a gem for you.
Bam, Saz.
Love
not just a
that.
hat rack right here. I know what I'm talking about right there.
I love that. We have,
what do we got right here?
We have Alan Negret.
Yeah.
I would love to see another Andrew Tate interview in the old PBD interview style with a bit more pushback and challenging questions. A fan of VT and Tate.
Hey, you never know what the future will hold. Thank you, Alan.
Yes. Then we have Jason Barqueta. He said, hi all. With international platform becoming more critical, what is the take on globalization right now and investing in the future?
What's your take on globalization right now and investing in the future? I mean, I think the world was very much embracing globalism and everything that it came with that. But I think basically everything is now becoming more localized, and understanding that your community and your sense of community is probably the most important thing that you can have in your life. I don't know if that exactly answers your question, but your neighborhood, your city, your block is the most important thing. Yeah. I'm not even talking about macroeconomics right here. I'm just talking about in life. Yeah. You know, they say that all politics is local, all business is local, relationships are local. So globalization right now, I think is trending the opposite way since COVID, supply chains, all that fun stuff. But investing in the future, I would say invest in yourself and invest in your local community. That's a surefire way to find success. What's the last one right here?
By Nathaniel Naranjo, $20. Question for you too. What is something you'd like to do but haven't done yet? Oh, it's a great question. You want to go first?
You want to go first?
Not really.
Something that I'd like to do but I haven't done yet, that would be find the woman of my dreams and have kids.
Oh.
I'd like to do that.
How soon?
Well, if I want a PBD to pay for my wedding, I need to do it in the next 18 months. But if I want to...
Alrighty, ladies watching. Ladies watching.
Yeah, I definitely... You know, because I have a whole... Most of my friends... So I'm 41 now. Most of my friends got married in their early 30s. Every weekend from like 28 to like 33, I was going to a wedding every weekend. You're talking to somebody who grew up in Miami and was basically still best friends with all his friends from elementary, middle, high school, college, after college. Like, I'm not a materialist. I collect friends. I'm constantly like that. I'm a networker,
You're
right?
a friend hoarder.
I'm a friend hoarder. So I just have been to a lot of weddings, always a groomsman, never a groom.
Does that touch a little bit? Does that like sting a little bit?
No, not even a little bit. I'm good. But the point that I'm getting at is like 90% of my friends are married with kids now. 90%.
Yeah.
You know? But I have a crew of friends in South Beach who are all basically late 30s, early 40s. And they're basically, how do I say this? Like very high value, attractive men.
Yeah.
Okay. They're not just going to let themselves go because they're still competing in the sexual marketplace.
Right.
And basically there's, 10 of us on a group chat, successful guys, cool guys, all that fun stuff. And we say, who's next? Like who's getting married next? Who's having kids? And I'm not like, my boy Adrian, not to put him on blast, he's last. I don't know if that guy's ever getting married. I don't know if he's ever having kids. I don't know. We know he's last. And then another buddy of mine, he's first. I'm kind of like second or third.
Yeah.
But I'm not first. And I'm not last.
Okay.
Because I know that I want that.
Now, question for you. Now that you did do things in a different order than some of your friends, do you feel like you're a lot more hesitant to like make that decision and move forward with the girl because of that?
Hesitant, no. I definitely think I'm picky.
So do you think you're pickier now because you waited so long?
Yes, but I think that's a good thing.
Okay.
Because I was almost married.
Okay.
I was with a lovely girl.
Right. Did that scare you from like...
No. It basically, if you haven't noticed, I like putting things 1 through 10. And I'm not talking like, that girl's a 9, that girl's I'm talking like, you know, when you health, wealth, happiness, I'm thinking, all right, cool. My health is like at a 9 right now. All right, what can I do to get it to a 10? You know, my wealth is at a 9 right now. What can I get it to a 10? My happiness, you know, there was a point where it was like a 6. I'm very depressed. I'm not feeling good right now. How can I get that higher? I like to put things into this 1 through 10. What was your question exactly? Because I went off the rails there.
My question was like, are you more hesitant to find?
Oh, okay. So gotcha. So I know with the girl that I almost married, it was not a 10. It was very hesitant. It was probably closer to like a...
Have you had that feeling
it was like
of...
an 8.
Have you had that feeling of like 10?
The next girl that I dated after her was like 9.999.
Oh.
Okay, but then we had there was a situation. She got very sick, unhealthy.
Yeah.
And we couldn't get it to that next level. The point is I've had relationships that are very serious, 8, 9. So I'm not going to just wife up a girl who I'm an 8 about.
Right.
You wife up someone you're 10 about.
Yeah.
So when I find that 10, let's go. Here's a ring. Let's go.
What is going to be like your
baby.
sign of like, this is my 10, baby? What would you say would be like a characteristic that you're like, this is a really important characteristic of all the characteristics, attractiveness, everything?
Yeah, I think at least initially.
Yeah.
Because I've felt this before. When you before you go to sleep, it's the last thing you think about. When you wake up, you're thinking, oh shit. Like when you just have that feeling, you're like, I cannot get this fucking girl.
But what can a girl do to do?
There's nothing she could do. Like you feel it. I mean, there's something they could do. Don't get me wrong.
But like, what's one thing you're like?
You know.
Like when you're like, oh, I love the way that she takes care of her.
Honestly,
is there something
those are minor things that
Okay.
we how she. Obviously, you want a girl who's a sweet person, has a good sense of humor, and is loving and is caring and wants to have a family and like understands the dynamic of a man and a woman. I get that.
So what's the difference between your 8 and your 10 then? What is that in the middle that you're like, this is an 8 and then this is like 9.999? What's that? What's that thing?
How they make you feel. Like how they treat you and how you want to treat them. Right? Like, so for instance, the 8, we would always be competing. She thought she was like a bigger character than me. Right? And this is when I was more like just started doing content and whatever.
Okay.
She was competing. She's like, I'm funnier than you. I'm like, bitch, you ain't that funny.
Yeah.
Okay? Like kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Whereas the other girl was like, I'll be your sidekick. I'm here to be, support you kind of a thing.
Right.
But like, when you're into
Right.
somebody versus, I'm kind of into them.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you do know.
You just kind of know.
That. Yeah.
Like, you know how they, like anybody who's ever married, you're just like, how'd you know? And they always say,
you just
when you
know.
just know, you just know. You just know.
What a statement, yeah.
So you just know. So when I find that person, I just know. I'll go with it. But yeah, I could have answered skydiving. I could have answered bungee jumping.
Yeah.
But that's I guess the next phase of my life.
Nice.
What's something that you want to do that you haven't done yet?
Something I want to do.
And don't steal my answer, Nat.
No, but that is kind of like future. I would like to,
Yes.
but it's for different. It's more so like I would like to find that so that my future family will be exposed to like who my parents are. That's really important for me. I really want my kids to like know who my parents are. Like I don't want them.
Well, you're young enough and your parents are young enough that that's not
not like an urgent thing, but I know like that's also like kind of something that I want to do, but it's not like I'm like on it. I think something that I really want to do right now that I haven't done yet is honestly just explore. Travel. I love to travel, explore what valuetainment's going to be, like explore my capacity. I'm really more looking at like just like new experiences. And I know through that I'll meet someone just because
but
of
you're
the
also
environment.
26. So like
I'm not 26.
You're 25.
21. I'm 25.
Are you 25 or 26?
25.
Sorry.
I'm 25. I'm 25.
All right, you're 25. I apologize.
Yeah.
You're
But we're 21. I'm 21. Remember, I age backwards.
So yeah, you should experience. You should have it out there. I've been there. I've done that. So it's like shout out to Randall Turtle Land Travers, my guy in Canada. He loves me. I love him.
I want to answer this question by
What's
Daniel. Sauce, random question, but what are your thoughts on sugar babies? Say you match with one on a dating app, date her, and on the 4th date, she lets you know she's a sugar baby. What are your thoughts? That's a great question today because sugar daddies and sugar babies are everywhere. When I moved from Orlando to here, like, I'm like, everybody and their dad are sugar daddies. It's very overwhelming.
Daniel, great question.
Yeah.
It's not that random because this is the place to ask a question like that.
Yeah.
If a woman is doing that, no problem with the woman doing that. Zero problem. Because those men who are paying for those women, they have a need for that.
Right.
They wouldn't be paying if they didn't want that. Now, would I date or wife up someone who's done that? I'm going to have to take a hard pass on that because I'm looking for something a little bit different.
Okay.
I think you know a girl that I've been dating or I was seeing or talking to recently that was doing something of that capacity. You know, here for a good time, not a long time. I think Drake said that. And I was there for a good time, not a long time. But nothing but love for, you know, women got to make their money. And there's men who need women like that to make them feel loved and special and happy. And if a man's willing to pay for a woman's companionship, sex, love, affection, whatever, it's a two-way street.
So
it's
here's
transactional.
Here's a question for you. So say you're dating a girl and you're still in your come-up phase and you guys are kind of like coming up together. And she has a sugar daddy that pays her a lot of money and she's able to provide certain things for the relationship. Would that be a relationship for a guy to stay in? Or what would be the advice in that relationship?
So you're basically saying you're on your come up, you're a young man, you don't have a lot of money, but your girl who you're with is
she
getting
loves you,
money.
she's feminine, everything.
Okay.
But she has somebody who's paying her bills.
Yeah. I think it's fair to say that's not going to work long term.
Fair enough, I agree.
Okay, so again, here for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah.
Cool, have fun. This might be controversial. I'm a huge advocate for guys in their 20s to get all their fun out. I'm not saying that you need to be a fucking idiot and a mess and a disaster and lack direction and lack basically ambition. That's not what I'm saying. But if you're putting in the work and you're working your ass off and you're moving in a good direction and you're not effing up, and you want to have some fun on the weekends and have multiple different girls and just like live it up.
Yeah.
Okay. But at some point you need to start getting serious. So I'm a huge advocate for young men to basically explore the space. Yeah. Explore the space.
I will say, I promise you, if a girl's like really into you and she does have a sugar daddy, I mean, I would assume, because like when I'm into a guy, I'll stop whatever like they don't like just because I'm like, wow, I really like you and I want to move forward and like, yeah, I'm willing to kind of adjust things so that we can be more on the same page. I would assume that if a girl who's just, I don't know, I think that's a lot of work to go put up with a gross old man just for like money. I think if she comes across a guy who really values her, he's in a good place and he provides her that security, not even financially almost, but that emotional security, I think she would leave. She should leave that source of income. Maybe, I don't know, because some of the girls I know, they get paid like thousands of dollars. I don't know.
Listen, women have now monetized their sexuality like no other time before. You know, prior to basically OnlyFans and Instagram and social media and all these other apps out there, you needed to be a stripper, a hooker, or a sex worker. Yeah. Now you could do OnlyFans from the comfort of your own home. Scary. So that's fine. Okay, just know that things on the internet tend to live forever. Yes. And
they do. You want to know a funny story quickly?
Yeah.
So we were looking for the thumbnail photo of me for the Soscast we had yesterday. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. And like this video, I know you guys are watching, like this video. But the picture that he grabbed, I like deleted a whole bunch of stuff on my media, not because it was bad, just because I kind of just wanted to delete it. And the picture he found was one of them I deleted. It wasn't bad. I was like in a jacket, whatever. And I saw the picture. I was like, how did you get that photo? Like, I don't have that photo anywhere anymore. He's like, I just Googled you. And when you Google, like, people can Google you and they see all your deleted photos. So don't think just because, like, oh, I took it down, like, they don't see, like, they see. It's there. So just be careful before you post. I'm like on Pinterest. I'm like, I don't even go on Pinterest. So it's like, just be careful. Just because you delete it and you post it, it's still there.
Very true.
You cannot delete it forever. Yes.
Yeah, I think, do things now that your future self will not regret.
Yes, agreed.
I think we've answered a lot of the questions today. We're in the final 10 minutes before we wrap up. It looks like we've answered most of the life and relationship questions, so we're back onto money stuff. Yes?
I have money right here.
Okay.
I guess, what is your advice for rejection and cold calls? Elias SB. Sugar baby?
Okay, so this is how I made my money. So I can talk about all day like this.
Yeah.
When I told you, very candidly, between the ages of 21 and 26, I was not a money guy. I wasn't making money. I was doing nightlife, clubs, stand-up comedy. I was playing a lot of basketball. I was trying to be a sports agent, all the above. And I was more networking, socializing, and just kind of creating a name for myself in South Florida, in Miami. And then I got a job for a startup financial firm as a cold caller. That was my official position, cold caller. It wasn't like account executive. I was like, fucking, here's names, start calling, bro.
Yeah.
And my boss, who's now my business partner now, he told me, hey, it's going to take you a year to make money. A year.
Yeah.
I said, okay, but just promise me, bro, if I do this for a year and give it to you, I'll make money. He goes, no, he's like, you'll know in 3 to 6 months whether you're even going to make it a year.
Nice.
And my first year, I made $5,000, and in a year, Nat, and I was sleeping on couches. I was crashing on different people's places. I was my buddy had a massive closet in his apartment that I slept in the closet, and it was a whole. But I paid my dues.
Right.
Shout out to Zach if you're watching. You know the closet I was sleeping in, bro.
Zach.
And but I was calling. And actually, a mentor of mine would basically said, oh, he's like, do you know when you're doing cold calls, you know the marble technique? I said, no, what's the marble technique?
Yeah.
He goes, go get a jar of marbles, okay? And every time you make a call, you take the jar and you have another jar, an empty jar. And no matter what happens, when they hang up on you, tell you to go fuck yourself, don't call them, just one marble that moves over here, okay? Another marble moves here. And then here's what I can guarantee you. If there's 1,000 marbles in this jar, by the time there are 1,000 in this jar, you're going to have a lot of success after you're done putting the marbles over here. I said,
that is a great exercise.
This. By the way, my second year in the business, I made $100,000. Okay, it's the most amount. I felt like I was a gazillionaire.
I bet.
Okay, I had my 10, 20 grand in the bank. I started investing. And I've never looked back. And, by the time I was 35, I was a millionaire, had money in the bank. But it all started with cold calling and using the marbles. And listen, with sales is a lot of rejection. Sometimes it takes, I think, 5 contacts for someone to say yes. So if you just quit after the first call,
you're not gonna make
I'll tell you one more story. So I've been doing this since 2006. So 15, 16 years I've been doing what I've been doing now. There's people that I've done business now. I've done business recently, where I've made millions from these connections over the last 15 years.
Yeah.
These same people who I'm doing multi 6-figure deals, we're doing $10, $20 million life insurance policies. The first 5 years when I would call them, Nat, stop calling me, leave me alone. I'm not interested, leave me alone. And then I would go see them at networking events.
Wow.
Same. And I'd say, hey, John, it's great to see you in public. I don't know if you remember me. I've called you a few times. You told me never to call you again.
Listen,
I just
everyone.
want to let you know that I'm the guy. And, hey, I totally understand. But if you're ever ready to do business, just want to put the name to the face. Wow. Much respect.
You're a genius.
And then they would see me at hey, man. And this is kind of what I said at the beginning.
Yeah.
People are so tough on the internet. They're so tough over the phone. But when you go up to somebody and say, "Hi, I'm the guy you keep hanging up on," and they say, "Hey, man, no hard feelings," and I say, "We're all good, bro. You know where to find me. I don't want you to think I'm just some nameless face on the internet or on the other end of the phone. I'm a human. I'm a professional. I'm a businessman. When you're ready to do business, here I am. Here's my card.
Wow.
And 10 years later,
look at you.
Hey, Adam, this is John. You remember we met? I go, I know exactly who you are, John. I've called you 1,000 times. Now we're doing major deals.
Wow.
You got to play the long game with people. But some
so
people
smart.
will quit so quickly after 6 months. It's not working.
Yeah.
But sales is a long game.
And that's the same, I would say, advice for even when you're getting a job. I know some people, I applied online and they didn't call me. Go into the job. Go in and ask for the manager because they're going to be like, oh, let me pull up your application.
Show up.
That is so very crucial. So that's a really good advice.
I'll when I wrap up, I'll give you a final story of the day about putting in the work, but we're not there yet.
Yes. Let's see.
What other questions on here? I think there was one or two more money questions we haven't got to.
What is some advice for making money, especially when you're disabled? Be an entrepreneur.
Especially when you're disabled. Okay.
What
all right. Well,
advice?
now this is where you're going to learn something about sales right here.
Let's get into it.
So that was my father. My father was a disabled businessman. My father was born with cerebral palsy. And he basically, very smart, very sharp, very good at math. But he had very clear physical limitations. Okay. But he was a natural salesperson. So I kind of think where I get my spirit and kind of my je ne sais quoi, whatever that is in French, I definitely got from my father. And he was an entrepreneur. He was a businessman. He was in marketing and specifically in the flyer delivery business. Now it's all done on the internet. The internet wiped him out, to be honest with you. But he would get flyers for the local, Italian restaurant, pizza shop, and he'd go in and say, hey, what percentage of your business is done within a mile radius? 90% of your business? Well, my company, we deliver flyers locally, and this is my business. I run it. And he was a disabled businessman. And then here's the catch. He only hired disabled people to work for him. So my father, I talked about the Special Olympics. Yeah. My father would go recruit at the Special Olympics saying, hey, not like the extreme people, but hey, you seem pretty capable. Do you have a job? No, I can't get a job. I'm disabled. How would you like to work with me and walk around the block and delivering flyers?
Wow.
And it gave these people, again, talk about happiness, a sense of purpose.
Yes.
Okay. A sense of meaning in their life. And these disabled people would work for my father and deliver flyers.
Wow.
And essentially what I learned is you got to work. Life's not easy.
Yeah.
Okay. People these days, it's very hard for me to understand why people won't work when I was raised by a disabled businessman who had cerebral palsy, and his entire crew of people, 12 people that worked for them, were all disabled or mentally handicapped or physically handicapped. So when people are scared to work or they don't want to work and they just want to sit home and collect unemployment and just get stimulus checks all through COVID.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, bro, I've seen people who've got it way worse for you, worked for my family, for my dad.
Wow.
I don't fucking play that game.
Yeah.
So if you're a disabled person, listen, never be the victim. Never have a race to the bottom, because believe me, no matter how disabled you are, there's always somebody worse. Yeah. And there's always somebody worse than that. Oh, okay, you have no hand. All right, I know somebody has no legs. Oh, I know somebody who's paralyzed. I know somebody that's blind that can't see. But nobody, everyone's dealing with something, okay? And it's just so attractive to have a positive attitude and have good work ethic. Yeah. And I learned that from my father and the business that he started. So for this person right here who is JSCMN baby, how do you make money when you're disabled? You just got to work. Okay.
Put in that work.
Not that hard.
Yes. Let's see.
I think that's it for the day.
That's it.
Speaking of work, let me tell one story. I'm very proud of somebody that we're going to talk about right now. Okay. And if this is your first time joining Soscast, welcome. But if there's people that have known what we've been doing for a couple of years right now, my little brother, basically, his name is Marcelo Hernandez. He's been writing for the show and helping produce the show for 2 years now. And he's a comedian, and he's a very talented young man. And I met this young man when he was 19, trying to do stand-up comedy at a comedy club. And I was one of the owners of the comedy club. In fact, I was the person that put the entire club together.
Wow.
And I met this kid. I said, hey, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, yeah, who's asking? I'm like, I'm not the cops, bro. Like, what are you doing here? And he said, listen, I'm 19. I'm starting to do stand-up comedy. I said, get on the stage, kid. Let's see what you got. And the kid, he knew exactly what he wanted to do with his life. He said, I was born to be a stand-up comedian, and I'm going for it.
Wow.
Now, I did stand-up comedy when I was his age. I did stand-up comedy between ages of 24 and 26. This is what all in my jack of all trades, hustler phase. I was good at it, but it was not what I wanted to do with my entire life.
Wow.
Okay? So if anybody who's been watching Soscast and watching Valuetainment, you've seen Marcelo on the show. You've seen what he was doing. You know how funny this guy is. You know how talented he is. Long story short, this guy has dedicated his life to comedy. He moved to New York. He lived in a shitty-ass little apartment, paying his dues. He's been working for Valuetainment behind the scenes. He's been on the Soscast a couple times. And he's been putting in that work, and today was his last day of work at Valuetainment.
Wow.
And you would think that I would be sad, but there's a silver lining here. And I'll tell you what the silver lining is. So here's a kid who's been putting in that work and has been going to comedy clubs galore. He's been opening up for big names. He has been paying his dues. And he calls me and says, Saz, I love you, bro. I love you like a big brother, but I got to move on. I say, tell me why.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, you are now talking to the newest cast member on Saturday Night Live.
Wow.
I said, shut the front door, bro. He said, yeah, real talk. I go, dude, seriously? He goes, seriously.
Wow.
And I'm happy. I'm proud. I'm shocked. I'm in disbelief. My little brother, this kid who I consider, I've saw him since he's 19.
You mentored him.
He's 25.
Yeah.
I mean, mentor would be he had that, maybe I've guided him, but I'm so proud of this kid. But, and now he's on Saturday Night Live, and they just made the announcement. If you don't believe me, go
check him out.
Go check SNL, on Instagram. They just posted on him. He's the first picture on the page. So our boy Marcelo, who works here for Valuetainment, specifically helped me start the Soscast, is the newest cast member of SNL. And as somebody who did stand-up comedy, and my bar mitzvah theme was comedy, and I love comedians, and I opened up a comedy club in South Beach, and I love stand-up, and we have Vinny here, Valuetainment Comedy.
Yes.
To see this kid thrive is so amazing to me. Yeah. So if you're a fan of Valuetainment, or if you're a fan of comedy, give this young man a follow. Go watch Saturday Night Live.
Yes.
October 1st is the first show. And when you see Marcelo, you say, that's the guy right there that helped create Soscast, helped be on Valuetainment. And I'm so proud of this guy right now. So what's the message here? What's the message? Other than me being proud of this guy and, looking at someone I'm tearing up over here, is that it took him 6 years to get to this point.
Wow.
When I met, 6 years that I've known him.
Yeah.
He was doing stand-up comedy before I met him. So he's been doing this since high school. So longer than that, 7-8 years. And, Patrick Bet-David did a video, the most famous video he's ever did potentially, called The Life of an Entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And he says that nobody, it's almost like the iceberg. You only see the top of the iceberg. You don't see the below the iceberg.
Right.
The hard work, the late nights, the rejection, the drama, the closed doors. You only see
no money. Yeah.
Exactly. No money, of course. You only see success. You only see, oh, Marcelo made it on SNL.
Yeah.
Oh, Patrick Bet-David, CEO. You don't see the fact that Marcelo has been doing stand-up comedy 8 days a week at little shitty comedy clubs all throughout Miami, all throughout Ohio, all throughout New York, traveling the country day in and day out and putting in the work. And then 6-7 years later, since I've known him, all of a sudden he just magically shows up on SNL. Doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So what am I saying to our friends out there who are watching the show and are so gracious to be here, part of the Soscast? No matter where you're at right now, you put in the work and you have a clear sense of direction of where you want to go, you'll get there. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Okay, most people don't want to put in the work, just like I had to put in the work to be a cold caller.
Yeah.
Okay? You think I like making those cold calls and getting rejected and doing the whole marble thing that we talked about earlier? No. So whether it's PBD, Life of an Entrepreneur, whether it's your boy Sauce over here making cold calls that went from a broke boy to a millionaire,
to
having his own show, teaching you how to improve, or whether it's young Marcelo Hernandez, who went from a young Latino, Cuban, Dominican kid at Baylin High School. Shout out to our friends at Miami Baylin, to now the newest cast member of SNL. The common theme is showing up even when no one's looking, putting in the work day in and day out, whether it's the shittiest comedy club, whether it's like the worst person you want to deal with. There's something so special about putting in the work, and you never know what's on the other side.
You never know.
So to say that I am proud of this young man, the newest cast member at SNL, would be the biggest understatement ever. So Marcelo, if you ever see this clip, which I hope you do, I hope you're not too big for me now, little bro. Just know that I'm so proud of you, and that all of you can take something from what I just said, whether it's my cold calling stuff, PBD Life of an Entrepreneur, Marcelo going from a young man to becoming a new cast member on SNL. What a story right there. I'm so proud of that. You put in the work. So anyway, that's
I say claps for Marcelo.
Oh my God, claps for Marcelo.
Yes.
Respect to you, Marcelo. Let's wrap this thing up here before we go.
Yes. Let's see.
Joey Parra says, T.S. Burton, $5. Thank you for sharing your story. Adam, respect. Thank you for that. Joey Parra, again, another
PBD and
contribution.
Sauce. It's
PBD
always,
and Sauce. It's always great hearing your humble. Oh, you want to read this? Go ahead.
Oh, because it's cut off there.
Yeah.
PBD and Sauce. It's always great hearing your humble beginnings and where you guys are at now. Big things coming for Valuetainment. Like the damn video.
Like the damn video. Natalya, you might want to put in 2 cents of what people need to do and say and all that.
Yes.
And then I'll sign out. Go ahead.
Yes.
Let them know,
Every guys,
people.
I hope you guys enjoyed today's Soscast. I hope you guys got some question answers. If you can, get your questions together. Even like the personal questions you don't want to ask anybody, like this is where you ask them. So even if you need to send an anonymous message, feel free to, because we want to help you guys out in all aspects of your life. So make sure you guys like the video, comment, subscribe, share to Valuetainment, Valuetainment Money, Valuetainment Comedy, to the diet, all of the Valuetainment activities. Because let me tell you, we are just getting started. So
love it.
Adam?
Okay, guys, thank you for being here. I completely agree with Natalya. Like the video and subscribe. And can I get an internet round of applause for Natalya's first big time show?
Yay!
My new co-host
on
the Soscast. She's not at the little kids table anymore on Fridays. She's in the big girl seat. But thank you guys for being here. We appreciate you. We're here for you. We want to see you gentlemen and ladies improve financially, in the marketplace, in the sexual marketplace, healthy, wealthy, happy. We want all that for you. Thank you for being here on the Soscast. We'll see you next Thursday and Friday. There you go. Till next time, save that money.
And Pat will have everything ready, I promise.
Peace
See
out.
you guys.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys.